With love, one of the things that I tell people, we use that word so frivolously, right? But it's like, define it, especially like man and woman when they're in a relationship. Y'all should start off with, what is love mean to you? Think about the English language, man. It's the only language I feel like where one word can mean like three things. And that's why people end up screaming, yelling, and miscommunicating. They think they're properly communicating because they're saying words that sound familiar, but they're meaning different things and having different intentions behind these words.
3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 88 of Ruse Radio. We are back at it again with a very special guest. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Well, for one, I appreciate that drum roll. What's up, man? It's a pleasure to be here. It's the people's rapper, Jon Connor, Flint, Michigan's own. Jon Connor, I'm in the building.
Yeah, man. And normally, I have people come in here and I say, if someone stumbled upon this, they haven't heard of you yet, give me an introduction. I feel like you're one of those guys I can't say that to.
Wow, I am humbled by that. Thank you so much.
Well, hey, man, you've paved your way. You made it here, right? It's not as if this comes up on its own. So, I mean, there's a reason you should be happy to hear that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I got plenty of questions here, but for the record, this is not an interview. I just figured, I might as well be a little prepared.
Yeah.
So let's just say this one. How was your first show back from your hiatus? Because I know you just came back.
Yeah, man. Yeah. My first show, it was crazy. It was dope. It was actually with Bizarre from D12. You know what I'm saying? And it was amazing. It was in Detroit, and the energy was phenomenal. And it was actually my first show back because I had some health issues in April and May, and it was exhaustion, anxiety, all of the things that come from pushing yourself too hard in this business. And I think in showbiz, from time to time, we have to check ourselves because we are taught to just go. And then we don't take the time to take care of ourselves. If you're not in good health, then you can't, put forth the effort into whatever your craft is. So I learned that lesson the hard way. And so I just appreciated every fan that came out. It was so cool. Like, it was in Detroit, and people came out from Toledo and from like just miles and miles away, like to come support not only myself but also Bizarre, and it was just an amazing show, man.
Yeah, and it must be an interesting feeling in the air for those types of shows too.
It was, man. I miss it. I am a stage rat, man. I love performing. I love being on stage.
Well, that's why that energy's in the air.
Absolutely.
Because that's what that is. That's why you're attracted to performing. It's a real thing, that feeling, that intangible. You can't even really speak on it, that real connection you get with an audience. You can't do that anywhere else but a stage.
Absolutely. Yeah. What's so funny, the word intangible, the first time I ever heard that word was in a pro wrestling promo.
Really?
And we just was talking about pro wrestling. I feel like it was a WrestleMania promo where they said something about intangible. And as a kid, I locked that word into my brain. So I'm saluting you on the vocabulary. I appreciate it. But yeah, it was a beautiful thing, man. It was dope. Thanks to Bizarre, thanks to Foul Mouth and all of them, we had a good time and it just felt good. I feel so at home on stage. I've been performing since I was like 11 years old, man. So anytime I'm on stage, I just feel at home.
Yeah. What was it about True's No Limit Soldiers that spoke to you so strongly?
First off, I appreciate you doing the research on that. You, young man, you, young man, are on your shit.
Appreciate you.
So, No Limit Soldiers, man. Yes, that is the song that made me want to rap. That is the song that that is responsible for anything involved in show business in my life. And I don't know. I think that it was a culmination when I look back at it of a lot of things. I think that I was inspired by Master P's journey in the sense of, now we know New Orleans because, Cash Money, No Limit, Juvenile, Lil Wayne, Master P, all of that happened. But in 1997, like, New Orleans wasn't like known worldwide for hip hop. And I think what it was for me, it was like, yo, if this dude can rep his city and if he can rep where he from and make the world know about New Orleans, I can do the same thing for Flint. It was like, it inspired me to be like, yo, he put his city on his back and it was album after album after album. It was like every month it was like 3 albums dropping from No Limit, and that inspired my work ethic to just continuously be consistent, to never shy away from where I'm from, because being in show business, when you say you from Flint, or if you say you from anywhere other than Detroit, people always just be like, oh, you from Detroit. And it was like, oh, I love Detroit, but I'm not from Detroit. I'm from Flint. And I thought that it was so dope that Master P represented the South, but he made a point to say, I'm from New Orleans. I'm from the 3rd Ward, Callio Projects in New Orleans. And so when you hear me even on Dr. Dre's For the Love of Money, when I say I'm a Civic Hood dude till I'm gone, you know what I'm saying? That only people in Flint gonna know what that means. You know, I made sure I said Civic Hood, North Side, all of that, because it was that important to me. So I think that not just the song No Limit Soldier, shouts to my big brother KLC who made that beat, and the beat is phenomenal. But I think that music carries a spirit, music carries an energy, and I think what I felt from that record was everything that I just explained. Just the journey, repping your city, coming from nothing, putting in the work, doing what you got to do, not making excuses. And I think that's why that song changed my life.
Yeah. To me, there's something beautiful about when art becomes something bigger than itself. Mm-hmm. And I always strive to do that with my own work, where I can pull other people in and make it something that's ultimately more representative of something than just me. Because if it's just me, what's that worth? And there's so much more value in this idea of shedding this light on all these things. And so the idea of, I mean, that's one reason I love doing these interviews, because I can pull in people from Flint, and ultimately it becomes this light of Flint. It's a little beacon that wasn't there before. And you know, that's something that people should strive to do in everyday life, is pull other people in rather than push them out, right?
Agreed, man, because at the end of the day, no matter what it is we do, we are all living this thing called life. And I think that the end game of life is, how many people did you inspire to do the right thing? How many people did you touch? And it doesn't mean that you have to be an entertainer to do that. It's like, I think that whatever your craft is, if you approach it with a genuine intention, I think that's what we all put here to do. People always, what's the meaning of life? Well, the meaning of life is figure out what you love to do and figure out a way to spread love through that. So if you, it don't matter whether you a janitor, there's a way to still do it. I know people that got stories like, yeah, man, it was a janitor at our school, and every time we was in the hallway, man, he used to pull us aside and just give us game. He's serving his purpose. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think the craft that you choose, I think people get confused, because it's like, okay, the craft is one thing, but never forget the main mission of this thing called life is to help and spread love. So no matter what that is, make sure you're still doing that in the process. If you're a musician, find a way to spread love. If you're a doctor, find a way to spread love. Spread love through whatever it is that you choose to do for a living.
Yeah, and love comes in many shapes and forms.
Come on now.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's not as simple as whatever your version you've built up of love in your head is.
Right.
Love can come in harsh ways even.
That's a fact.
It can be advice that people don't want to hear.
Come on now.
It's tough, man, because people don't know how to love a lot of the time.
Come on
so
now.
that advice, they hear it, but they don't really know what it means. You know, like, how do I use that, though? How do what's their version of love? And so you have to be open and listen to other people too, and figure them out, and figure out what love really is.
You know what? You just said it. That's and let me see, because this is a dope conversation we have, and I want to.
I'm happy to hear that. We have dope conversations in this room, for the record.
We sure do. Now you tell me, what is it that allows for such fantastic conversations? What is it that makes things go so smoothly? Well, I got a theory, and I think what it is level-headedness. I think what people need is a little bit of balance in their life, and that way we can all live in this beautiful harmony. Now, a lot of people struggle to find that kind of balance, but I got a cheat code. I got a secret, and it's today's sponsor, CBDfx. CBDfx is awesome. It's my favorite CBD brand. They got great prices. They got deals all the time. The reason I love CBD so much is because it makes things more clear. It allows me to clear up that brain fog, to move through my day, and just see things for what they are. Totally fine. There's no reason in stressing yourself out. There's no reason in getting upset about these other circumstances that you've created in your mind, because, bro, CBD shows you that stuff's all baloney. It's all balonkers. It's fake. All you got to do is wake up and just exist. And CBD allows you to do that. It allows me to stay in touch with that Zen part of my personality. And that's just putting aside all the physical benefits of this magnificent substance. So if you want to get involved with CBD, you want to try it out, just go hop to that link in our bio. Right here, you can see that you're going to get great savings on your very first order of CBD products. And folks, let me tell you, you will not be disappointed. All right, now let's hear Jon talk a little bit more about the true meaning of love.
All right, so with love, one of the things that I tell people is, we use that word so frivolously, right? But it's like, define it.
Yeah.
Two people, especially like man and woman, when they in a relationship, y'all should start off with, what does that word mean to you? What does love mean to you? Because the thing is, if we go deeper with it, you could have a little girl, right? And maybe she had an abusive father. And every time he beat her, after he beat her, he would say, but I love you. That's why I do this. So that affects her and how she views love. And then let's say you have a man who didn't grow up in an environment like that at all. And every time he heard the word love, it was when his mother gave him a hug and gave him some candy. So now you have the same word, but two very distinct, different definitions of it based off how they grew up. You dig what I'm saying?
Perception is a funny thing.
Isn't it? So it's like you have to sit down with somebody and say, well, what does that word mean to you? Define love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So y'all could be, like I said, y'all could be saying, think about the English language, man. The English language sometimes bothers me because it's the only language I feel like where one word can mean like three things.
Well, one of the first things, I took barely any college classes, but I took philosophy. And one thing I remember learning early on in there is that you got to define terms in the beginning of an argument.
Yes.
I got to figure out what you're actually saying.
What are you
before
actually
we can
saying?
even talk to each
Yes.
other. Because if I don't know what you're saying, there's no point in me trying to communicate.
Yes.
It won't even make any sense.
At all.
Yeah.
At all. And that's why people end up screaming, yelling, and miscommunicating, because they think they're properly communicating because they're saying words that sound familiar, but they're meaning different things and having different intentions behind these words. And I won't get too long-winded because I know you got questions, but it's like recently...
Oh, we get very long-winded on here. So
it's all good.
do whatever you're going to do.
Recently, man, it was on my spirit to read the Bible from beginning to end.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I was like, yo, I need Webster's dictionary as I read this, because you can't just read it and think that you understanding it, because like as I started learning, it's like, okay, so I'm reading the Bible and then I'm confused because I'm like, this word is not how I'm used to hearing this word.
Yeah.
So what are they saying right here? So I encourage anybody, if you're on the journey to read the Bible or any spiritual religious text, have your dictionary next to you so you can truly understand what's being said.
I know. It's almost a shame because language is like that. If you read a poem from the 1600s, it doesn't connect in the same way.
At all.
You have to translate it first.
At all.
Yeah.
It reminds me of yesterday, my cousin came through and he had his kids with him, right?
Yeah.
And I thought the word Riz was the dumbest thing ever, right? They was using the word Riz.
Oh,
like,
it's popular.
It is popular.
Yeah.
And I'm an old head, so I'm listening. They telling my cousin, Dad, you ain't got no Riz. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like,
they're using it on you, man.
they using it on me. And it's like, man, it is another time where it's like, you better keep up before time pass you by. So just always make sure, as far as language, we make sure we stay up on things and the evolution of language, because then you could just end up getting lost. You can get lost to the point where a father wouldn't even know how to communicate with his daughter if you don't stay up on it.
I hear you, but like that's how I justify reading TikTok comments, because that's how I learn these terms. I'll be reading, I'll be like, Riz, what's that?
Right.
And my whole theory is that back in the day, it used to be like if you wanted to spread a new word, a new phrase, you had to come up with it and you had to tell your friends. It had to spread across the country slowly. It took a year.
Right.
Now it takes 5 minutes. It takes one kid to make up one word.
Yeah, this is facts.
It's on the internet in 2 days.
Riz.
So it's really hard to keep up with slang now. It's not like it used to be.
It's not at all. Not at all.
It happens fast.
Bruh.
Yeah. And for those old school brains out there, it's not fair.
At all. That remind me, I seen KRS-One said, he said it's important for the youth he said, this is the actual quote because I don't want to misquote. The quote was, when a adult communicates with a young person, they move faster amongst older people. And when a young person properly communicates with an adult, they move faster amongst young people. Because he was saying basically like this new generation, right? They faster with technology. I know little babies that can get a phone and like go to the game app, right? But then I know like 60-year-olds who they get a phone and it's like they trying to figure it out. But if those two generations would just communicate with each other, that young person can make the old person wiser when it comes to these new inventions. And if the young person listens to the old person, they'll become wiser when it comes to like little stupid stuff that we go through as adolescents, right? When we go through heartbreak or when we go through, why'd you lie about this? If they would just listen to the older people, they would know how to move faster amongst, their peers. So it's just so important for all of us to just properly communicate. I think it's so whack that there's this generational war that goes on. You old, you don't understand this. You just a kid, you don't understand that. It's like, yo, we actually, it is at our detriment that we not listening to each other. We actually could learn a lot from the generational gap. We can learn a lot from each other. So anytime I'm around kids, matter of fact, I'm supposed to hang out with my nieces and my young nephew this weekend. So we gonna exchange knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about.
I think a lot of that comes from what we're taught about the other age groups, right? Because when I talk to kids, I try to treat them like a friend, like I would talk to anybody. Because I'm thinking in their mind, they're perceiving me as I'm not talking down to them. I'm talking to them like a peer. And then they think of themselves as a peer. But we don't do that as a society. We go, oh, what do you want to do today? And all that. And that's the regular thing to do. Yep. Whereas you're looking at it like an other. Like they wouldn't understand if I said it this way. And so that creates this weird separation. Same thing with with old folks, Yep. We think of them as, oh, they can't do this. They can't do that. Oh, well, they couldn't. And as soon as you start framing things that way, you start otherizing people. And you lose that human spirit, that potential that's in everybody. And
absolutely.
That's the beauty. That's what it's about.
That is the beauty. That is the beauty, man. Any elder person, any younger person, I respect every perspective. You feel me?
Yeah, I think you can learn something from everybody. I try to demonstrate it with just talking to people and showing people that conversations are that when you have an open mind. You learn so much.
As a fact, LL Cool J said even a homeless person can teach you not to do push-ups in the middle of a highway. So you can learn something.
That's one way to put it.
You feel me? You can learn something from everybody.
Yeah, I just learned something from LL Cool J.
Straight up shouts to LL for that. Yes.
Is it true that you were dancing to music before you were born?
Oh, wow. That's hilarious. I
thought that was hilarious. That's why I brought it up.
My dad is so funny. That's where that quote came from.
Yeah.
Man, I would have no recollection because I would be in my mother's stomach at the time.
But you've been told the stories.
But that's what he said.
Maybe, is it with one of those things where your dad's like, no, I swear you was dancing?
Right. Oh, listen, my dad will swear to that in a court of law that I was dancing. But seriously, my mother says the same thing though. She says when she was, going to rehearsals because my dad's a musician, so when he was in bands and stuff, like she would go to the rehearsals while she was pregnant with me, and he said he would put his hand on her stomach and he would feel me moving around to the music. So I'm gonna go with yes, true. That is a true. That's a true statement.
Ding ding ding.
Yes, true.
What is the story of how you came to study at Full Sail University?
Well, not in a disrespectful way, but my guidance counselor in high school kind of threw his hands up when I kept saying that I wanted to do music for a living. It was just kind of like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Because, their job is to, get you to a college that best suits whatever it is that you want to do. And he, at the time, and you got to remember, I'm going to tell my age because I don't care. You know what I'm saying? It makes you older and wiser. I graduated in 2003. So in 2003, like now people know about Full Sail. You know what I'm saying? because WWE's Performance Center is there, and then it kind of just over time.
Is that where they were doing FCW back in the day?
I don't think so. I think only since it's been NXT has it been at Full Sail.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure.
It used to be the same place.
So don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Yep, don't quote
I remember I was into it. That was when I was into it. I was trying to watch the videos before they televised them on NXT, and I swear
we're going to have to fact check before the interview is over. Fact check me on that. Fact check me on that.
Continue.
So so at the time, like it was like a guidance counselor wouldn't know where to tell an aspiring rapper producer where to go to school at. So I remember back in the day, for all the youngins out there, and for my old heads who can remember this, the Source magazine, Double XL magazine, Murder Dog, there were all of these hip hop magazines back then, and in the back of the magazine were the advertisements for Full Sail. And as soon as I seen it, I'm like, this is where I need to be at. At Full Sail, you could get a degree in performing arts and gaming and film and photography and all of that. So I'm like, yo, that is where I need to go. So it was almost like God sent a ta-da moment to me at that moment. You dig? So that's how it happened. Like I saw it. I saw the advertisement for Full Sail in the back of a Double XL magazine, and it was on. I went to the orientation. I loved it, and I would encourage any young person to go there, because it's not just about the degree, because I did not graduate from Full Sail, because at the time my cousin passed away in the middle of the school year. So I was like, forget school, I need to grieve. You know what I'm saying? But I will tell people, I do encourage them to do the Full Sail thing, or to go to a school to learn your craft.
I know where you're going.
Because
the importance of networking and maintaining relationships.
Yeah. You've seen a couple Jon Connor interviews before.
I sure have. I feel the flow right now.
Yes, but that's exactly where I was going. It's important to make those relationships. Damn, you really, because that is my standard answer when it comes to people asking me about Full Sail. If not just for the degree, it's relationships that I still got to this day. Like I just talked to my man Alex Minor. We met at Full Sail. My man Kevin Williams, who now owns a studio, I think the name of the studio is the Blue Room in Atlanta. I met him at Full Sail. So it's like, man, it was somebody else I wanted to shout out that went to Full Sail. But just in Orlando, Winter Park is just a good place too. It's just all about building and maintaining relationships, and that's the most important thing.
It's the things you don't think about. It's the fact that it's that intangible thing about connection. Mm-hmm. It's that thing that lasts forever. Mm-hmm. That the fact that you saw me today and we looked at each other and we had a real conversation, that's what holds true.
Yeah, absolutely.
For on and on and on and on for eternity, rather than anything else. It's that real just being with one another and feeling that energy from one another. I think that it's a human thing. That's why that really happens. And people, they say your network is your net worth, and it's 100% true. But it's zooming out even from that and seeing that it's everything. It's that's always what it is.
Absolutely,
what like we said before, what's your life if you don't affect people? Mm-hmm. That's the value of life.
Man, so, absolutely, bro. You get it. That's the highest compliment I could ever give somebody. Not that I'm any type of whatever, I'm just a human like anybody else, but it's always dope when you meet people that just get it.
Yeah. I felt that way while I was listening to those Jon Connor interviews. I was like, this guy gets it. We're gonna have a good conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You do. You going, not that you need me to say this, but it's just whenever the spirit is on me to give verbal confirmation, bro, whatever you do in life, you're gonna be successful at it. Whatever your goal and plans are in life, whether it's still this medium of podcasting or whatever, because you understand there's something spiritual that most people don't understand. They minimalize it to just the art form. If I rap really good, I'm gonna make it. No, me and my cousin talk about this all the time. The human factor is what I call it. Like it's the piggyback of what you were just saying. Who are you beyond just rapping in sports? Who are you beyond when you're on the field or on the court or whatever the case may be? What is your vibe when all of this get cut off? What is the impression that you left on people? That's what makes people want to help you. That's what makes some billionaire see you doing what you do, and he could hear your shit all day long and be like, oh yeah, the kid's good. Because think about it like this. people in positions of power, or people that are in position to help you, they see and hear the most talented people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So what makes you special isn't the fact that you're talented, because they hear talent all day. Who you are as a person, the difference between a talented asshole and a talented, good-spirited person. That's why you're going to always succeed. Man, a lot of people don't get that. They don't understand that. They just think my beats is better than such and such. Why I ain't on and he on? He's on because he was humble. He's on because he was listening. He's on because he was respectful. He's on because he knows how to talk to people. You're not on because you're disingenuous, because you can tell that you're trying to use people instead of actually make a solid relationship. You're not on because people can feel the unauthentic nature of your intentions. You feel me? And that's the thing that people don't get. So my spirit was just led to tell you that, because I feel your aura and your vibe, and that's the aura and vibe that I don't like the word successful people, because success is defined different by each individual, but you'll be whatever your version of successful is, because you know it when you see it and you know it when you feel it. So it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. That's all I can really say, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I always tell people that I recognize this in myself, and that's why I love being able to do this. And then, and to piggyback on everything we've been saying, it is that's my goal. It's to affect as many people in a positive way as possible. That's what I'm trying to do here. That's what I'm trying to do. I had a mixtape I did called Constellations, and it was all collaborative, and the idea was the stars are coming together to form a bigger picture, because that's everything in life.
That's everything in life.
And I want to show people that it's not about you, it's not about your success. Your success is based on others' success, and that we can't all win, and that's what feeds into the art. It's the art feeding into itself. Art is that infinite loop, and we just sit there in the middle.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing, man.
And I just want to make art in every single way that I can. I consider everything art. And so I'm always just I'm just freestyling, man. That's all it is. That's the method. I'm just freestyling.
Facts,
and I just tell other people, please just do that.
Right.
Just lead by example. That's the other thing I always say is what are the values you want to see in the world? What do you actually want the world to be? Go out there and be that. And don't just say these things. Actually be that. Because people identify with that on a different level. They see that and they're like, oh my God, it's possible. It's real.
Yep.
Because everybody doubts themselves. It's a universal thing. So the guy who goes out there and just does with no doubt, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
We all dominoes, man. We all playing into each person doing what it is and inspiring each other to be and do what we supposed to be and do.
And that's why I love having people in here too, because I feel like people are allowed to inspire me and I'm allowed to inspire them. I always get this great feeling of like, man, there was something that happened there.
Yes.
And I'm glad I can capture it and share it with people because they get something from it too. They see that. They'll hear this and be like, wow.
Absolutely.
And I could change someone's whole next year because they decided to work out because they were motivated by this conversation. It could be anything.
Absolutely.
And you got to be open to that too, because that's the flow of it. That's why you don't do shitty things. It's as simple as that.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. I don't need to add anything to what you just said because you verbalized it perfectly, and it gives my spirit a feeling of joy. Because sometimes living in the world we live in, you think, oh, this shit is hopeless. Like you start feeling like you're the only person that looks at life in that way. So when you meet someone else that does, it's like confetti going off. It's like a surprise party in my head. Like, surprise! It's somebody else that fucking gets it. So it's like.
But I think it's like I say though. I think it really is a universal feeling to feel that way.
Yes.
That's what's so crazy about it is that we all think we're so isolated, but we're not.
We're not.
We share that same exact pain, and it just takes one person to say it,
That's
and then
it.
you're like, ah.
Bro, that's why I don't know what the image of Jon Connor is to people, but I like to just be Jon all the time, which is interesting because my next album, 3, is going to be called Jon Freeman as Jon Connor in 3. You know what I'm saying? Which it goes all the way back to my first season album, which was Jon Connor as Vinny Chase, season 1, right? I felt like at that time I was trying to portray an image of what I thought a rapper should present themselves like, right? And then now you got Jon Freeman as Jon Connor, where I've come full circle, where I realize Jon is what I am all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jon Connor was the character. You dig? The whole time. So it's just like, just saying that to say, be yourself. It's not about an image. The more open and honest you are about your journey, the more you'll inspire people to be open and honest about theirs. So just going off what you said in that way, like, it's like, don't hide your journey, don't hide your story from the world. That's what actually makes the world a better place. And the more open you are, the better the world is going to be, based off of whatever it is or what platform people saw you tell your truth on.
Yeah, I see. I had a conversation the last episode on this podcast where I came to the conclusion that I feel like what happens is there's something about the fact that you're able to speak and narrate those feelings and be able to put you're able to identify it so where people can see that and they can understand it, and they wish they could speak on that too. A lot of people struggle to just express themselves, and so when people are good at expression, that speaks to people too. Mm-hmm. I think that's why art is so powerful, because we don't know how to say a lot of things, and the art says it for us a lot of the time. We're like, and it's like meeting somebody and being like, hey, you get it. Yeah. It's just like that.
Facts. Absolutely, man.
This is a little thing I wrote.
Okay.
I was gonna pull it up, but I got it memorized. So I always like to. What I'm trying to do with my music now is do what I do with conversations like this, is to put that energy in the air, to show people that self-expression and believing in yourself is cool, to actually make it cool, not in a hokey way, but like an actual way. Okay. Catch me taking notes as I carve a frame of reference. Shout out Kubrick, PTA, Coppola, Lynch, the Mac is the dopest. To give you presents, the real keep it alive. The loan you away to press it, a feel, away a vibe. Passion takes a bribe, like the masters take it slow. So I laugh when patience dies. I ain't had to wait before. What come after ain't advised. It's insinuated though. In the palette, it's implied when the splash of paint composed. No rhyme, never know. I don't repeat, don't lie. Everything is intuition, easy. Brief intermissions, the mission is in the scene. Read the message in the method, the vision is how you see, super simple, the inherent is iconic, something in your spirit, imperative in your pocket, life will break it down, but the better build it up, dig deeper than the sound, stay physical, miss the touch,
Let's go.
But that is what I'm trying to say there.
Yes.
Is basically what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Just do you.
If
you just do you, that's what the greats are doing. That's what the people that you learn from are doing.
Period.
That's if they teach you anything, it's just find the best way to do you.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right, back to the interview.
No, it's all good. I love it, man.
Yeah, man. It's just this is something I'm very passionate about too. I just really
as am I, and it's dope. We got big Gemini Aries energy in the building.
I know.
So I feel, trust me, I feel exactly the same way you feel. But as an Aries, sometimes my fire can burn out of control. So I have to woosah, because if I get on the same energy level as you, we will be wilding.
Yeah.
So
the world doesn't want to see that.
Right, yo. But bro, we here. We absolutely are.
We here.
Yes.
If you could chalk up how you see Mo Cleave in one word, what would it be?
Oh man, in one word or one phrase?
One phrase will work. Whatever works best, I suppose.
If I could sum him up?
Yeah, sum up how you see him. Like, what is he to you?
One phrase, I would say he believed at a time that I really needed someone to believe.
And do you wish you could have the same effect on others?
Absolutely.
And why?
Because, see, this is funny, because this whole conversation is a circle. Because at the time that I met Mo, I was just grinding. I had no direction. I just knew I wanted to be successful, whatever that was, right? And when he came along, being as how he had already had success in the NBA, damn, it's really like this entire conversation is coming together, because this is the same thing that I was saying earlier about the older generation and the younger generation. It was because Mateen Cleaves had already knew what it was like or knew what it took to be successful in a certain venue. And just because it was sports, it don't mean nothing. It's like, if you're successful at anything, you can apply those methods to whatever it is that somebody do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you're successful at sports, you can tell somebody how to be successful at anything. If you're successful...
Well, just like this conversation just came full circle. I think everything is everything, right? Because we can connect these things in these seamless ways, just like how trades are. If you learn one thing, it feeds into all the other things you do.
All the other things.
You just have to have that mindset of allowing those things to feed into one another.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
You're damn right. And it was just like that thing, like, he didn't, you know, because his generation was, you know, they came up on the Dayton Family, MC Breed. And so instead of him just being like a stubborn older person, he was like, yo, I think you dope. I think you can make it. And he kind of took me under his wing and taught me the things that I needed to know. Like, I remember my first interviews, he would be in them with me because I was so nervous in interviews. You feel me? So he would sit in the interviews with me and then critique my interviews after we got done. Like, okay, he was truly a coach. And I think that, like we said, goes back to that older, younger generation. The reason why I want to do that is because I know how impactful that relationship, not only just Mateen Cleaves, but also at the time there was a cat named Young Sav, Kendall Freeman. He worked at Def Jam. He was my other manager at the time. He kind of did the same thing, but even before him, it was a cat that worked with me named Marcus Davenport, and he was kind of that for me. So there was always like an older brother, big brother figure in my life that kind of helped me to get to certain points. So wherever y'all ever see me at, or whatever cool things y'all see me do, it wasn't just me by myself. Like, I just came out my mama's womb knowing the answers to everything. There were people who were selfless enough to sit me down and teach me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like life is like a relay race. You know what I'm saying? Like Mateen and Marcus and Sav, they passed the baton to me. So it's like, it would be selfish of me to just take the baton and hold it to myself. And it's like, well, that's not how you got all the wisdom. You got to keep it going. Because if those people would have been selfish, I wouldn't be able to live the life and do the things that I'm doing. So I almost feel like it's my obligation when a young person comes to me and wants knowledge or information. It's like, how dare me ever think that it's not my responsibility to help younger people if they come ask me for something. Because if it wasn't for that relationship between older and younger, I wouldn't have been successful at the things that I've been able to do. So that's why, man. I think that we just keep on passing the baton, and whatever young person I pass it to, they'll pass it to the next generation, and until, you know, all is love, man.
Yeah. And I think it plays into this whole idea of a people's rapper too, right? That you want to do it for the people, that you're working for the people. I wanted to ask you, since you're a wrestling fan, is there any connection between the people's rapper and the people's champ?
Of course.
There's gotta be.
I knew it, man.
I knew it.
Of course.
All right.
Yes, of course. Bro, as the legend goes, my mom always tell me, you've been watching wrestling since before you can remember, because she said my dad would put me on like his knee and he'd be watching wrestling. So even when I was a baby, like, I was watching wrestling. So wrestling, movies, music were always the thing, and the English language were always things that I was super passionate about. So yeah, like, so it came from and the people's rapper definitely came from the people's champion.
Yeah, I just imagine you in a music video dressed up like John Cena. You got the bands on.
Yo, I got a story about that. I went to WrestleMania. What WrestleMania was that? I think it was 33, the one in Orlando.
Yeah.
Bruh, I had on full John Cena outfit. I had
photos?
the blue Never Give Up. Yeah, it's pictures. I'm going to have to send them to you. Yeah. I had the blue Never Give Up shirt on, the blue and orange wristbands, the blue and orange John Cena hat, and the people that was sitting around me hated me, dog. I'm talking about, this guy likes Cena. This guy.
Wrestling fans are wild.
I love it, though, because I'm just as wild as them. I'm the worst. At wrestling events, little kids hate me. But it's all in good fun.
Well, you were probably playing into their energy.
I was.
Yeah, I love John Cena.
I love Cena, bro. I was throwing up the hustle, loyalty, respect. I was throwing up the basic thugonomics. But it'd be funny because Kids hate me at wrestling events because I'll cheer for the heels, and they be turning around like, why is he cheering for the bad guys? But I can't help it, man. I like who I like, man.
I almost want to boo for him, like, because I only went to Raw one time, but I remember, like, I like a lot of the heels in the same way, but I want to boo for him because I feel like it's the right thing to do.
Yeah,
like, it's probably what they want.
Bro, it is what they want. It is what they want, and I appreciate your perspective on that. But yeah, man, I can't.
Well, you know what's cool though? When like a heel comes to their hometown and then everybody cheers.
Cheers, yes.
Yeah.
Man, bro, one of the greatest times in professional wrestling, and this is, what year were you born?
1998.
See, so this is, that's so crazy for me. So 1997, Bret the Hitman Hart was a heel in the United States, and he was a babyface in everywhere else he was a babyface. And I'm talking about the boos in the United States for Bret Hart in 97 was crazy. There's an event. If you get a chance, go on WWE. Well, it ain't WWE Network no more. It's Peacock. But if you get a chance, it's called Canadian Stampede. The amount of cheers, the pop that Bret Hart gets in Canada is the craziest shit. And I remember being a kid watching that, and I was so geeked. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. But I love that. I love when CM Punk go to Chicago. It's a crazy feeling. I love when who else get a crazy pop like that? CM Punk in Chicago is like legendary. CM Punk in Chicago is the equivalent to Bret Hart in Canada. And
I remember there was one episode of Raw, and I can't remember if I'm getting the person wrong, but it was a jobber. It was probably Santino Marella, or maybe it's Brodus Clay. Or no, but when he came back and he was doing the disco thing.
Yes.
I can't remember what it was, but it was some jobber, and they came out, and the audience went crazy. And I think Santino, it might have been like one of those things where Santino had a great match. It was one of those crazy, wild, like, once-in-a-lifetime nights.
Yes.
Everybody remembers those when, like, Hornswoggle comes out from under the ring. And
yes.
You know it's a different episode of Raw.
Yo, that is so funny, man. I respect your wrestling knowledge, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I have a lot of it. I don't watch
up.
Anymore, but it's still in there. That's what I was telling you before we started recording. I still it's in my heart, you know?
Yeah, man. You know what? I say it's still it has its good moments. Like, I cannot lie. Like, I think this is not a high point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Creatively. But there's still some reasons to watch, man.
I'm hoping it's at a midpoint right now, because from what I see, it's a whole lot of fumbling and trying to figure out where it's actually at, especially since AEW came around. And now it's like there's this competition that is actually competitive, but it's nothing like WWE and WCW. No. So it's not really, like, people don't even watch TV like they used to.
That's a fact.
There's so many different things that are happening, and maybe if because there's this whole thing with the UFC now buying WWE, so maybe there's going to be some type of movement in that area where it lights back up and we see the WWE being cool again.
Bro, I think wrestling goes through its highs and lows. Because I've been watching it for so long, I remember the big boom in the 80s when Hogan was the man with the red and yellow. Hulkamania was running wild. And then I remember the steroid trial in 92, 93, and nobody was watching wrestling except me. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was like around, if you go watch like wrestling in like from 93 to like 96, bro, it's brutal. Like, go back and watch Monday Night Raws from like 93. Bro, it looked like they had like high school gymnasiums and like little rec centers.
And this is right before the Monday Night Wars,
so like, okay, so you had the 80s and then you had the early 90s. Then you get into the Attitude Era, 97, 98, 99, where it's bigger than it's ever been. Then it kind of peaks off at around 2003, 2004. And I feel like since then, it's been kind of trying to find its way back ever since. But what I know about pro wrestling, man, is it ain't never going nowhere. It's always going to entertain people, even at its low moments. You watch WrestleMania this past year, they still filled up SoFi Stadium with like 70,000 people 2 nights in a row. So we can say what we want, man. Pro wrestling ain't never going nowhere, whether we like creatively where it's at or not. now you got fans like me that have been watching it so long that it's just out of habit that I don't know how to not watch wrestling at this point.
It's out of your hands.
It's out of my hands. And then we just call our other disgruntled wrestling fans friends and be like, did you watch Raw today? It sucked. Like, yeah, it sucked, but I'm going to WrestleMania. It's like, it is what it is, man.
Still reading them dirt sheets every single Sunday.
Right, shouts to Dave Meltzer, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? Still reading dirt sheets, dog. Still listening to the podcast. And wrestling fans, we so full of shit, bro. Like, we'll talk all day about how we hate the direction. Vince is crazy. Triple H is crazy, but we still watch that shit.
Dude, well, that's one thing that, okay, so this is what I really loved about wrestling in general.
Wait, is it possible to pause it?
So what I love so much about wrestling is the idea of storytelling. And what I used to do is I used to do that. I used to think, well, if I were writing it, how would I write it? And what would be the perfect way to make it so this could happen? I remember I used to follow this guy on YouTube who would do what if videos, like what if Undertaker turned heel, and that was, he would just do it as a thought experiment, and that was really fun. And I love the storytelling of it, and I think, like, to me, that's what spoke to me so much. I think that's the most beautiful thing about it.
Yes.
I was going to ask you if you've seen Wrestling Isn't Wrestling. It's made by, I think, Max Landis is his name. It's a video on YouTube, but it's a full production, and what it is it's he basically takes the story of Triple H and his coming up and the whole story of that and how it took place on television, and he recontextualizes it and has a bunch of girls play them, and he just, like, it makes you think about it beyond the frame of wrestling. It's storytelling. It's just like when you watch a movie and you get into a movie, and that's why when people look at wrestling and they don't get it, they're like, why are people, I don't get it. They know it's fake. Why are they so invested? But it's not that it's real or not real. It's Wrestling Isn't Wrestling.
Correct.
It's bigger than that.
It's bigger than that.
And to me, it helped me connect the dots at an early age. Like, oh, so this is how things can, I can have my own little thought experiment and make these things come together.
Yes.
And I would have fun doing promos. I would do them with my friends, or I could still do them. I could do them right now if I wanted. Just point at something and I'll go. You know what I mean? Because it's storytelling.
Yes.
So, like, potato. So there's a potato on that there. Oh, I'm a heel.
Okay.
I see everybody out here tonight. You all look disgusting. You've probably been sitting in these chairs for a week just waiting for us to get here. You know, there's a word that describes you. I saw it before I walked in. Potato. Potato, potato. That's how I feel when I look at you people in Dayton, Ohio. Jesus Christ. What is this city? What is this city? They're booing right now.
Right, definitely booing. Right? You got the cheap pop in there, you know what I'm saying? Through the city in there. Yes, indeed.
All right, and then who's the guy that was my current feud?
Well, I guess it would be me, bro.
All right, last week, Jon Connor came out with that hat. That hat was cool. Nothing else about him was, but, you know, it is what it is. You guys love him. I know, people's rapper. I get it. But listen. There's something that he's not telling you, okay? He won't tell you the truth. He won't tell you that you're potatoes. Get out there, all right? Get out there and think about yourselves for once. Stop thinking about this guy that comes out here and pretends to stand for you. Really? You guys, that's what your lives are chalked up to. There's a reason that you're out here at a wrestling show tonight. Let me just put it up to that, okay? Okay? I'm sorry. And, you know, they're booing like crazy right now.
Like crazy. Dog, this is an amazing promo. I'm buying tickets right now,
That's
dog.
what I'm saying.
I'm buying tickets to the pay-per-view.
I've practiced.
I used to try to practice promos, man, but I'm too silly, man. I'm too silly, and let me see. No, I probably start laughing.
You know what you need is just a gimmick. You need a ridiculous gimmick to play into the silliness in your set. That's what you need. Yeah.
You're right.
Like, that's easy to be like Santino with a sock.
Bro.
Just something ridiculous.
Santino is probably one of the funniest, most entertaining pro wrestlers of all time. I've always been a fan of funny gimmicks.
And he's actually talented.
Do you know that's not even his real accent? The accent that he uses on TV?
Yeah, I've seen only like 2 videos of him actually talking. Yeah. I think he did a podcast or an interview somewhere, and it was enlightening because I'm like, wow, this is really. He's just letting himself be the butt of the joke. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening, bro. And just back to what you were saying about storytelling, man. This is what I, as a kid, my vocabulary wasn't up to par, so I couldn't explain this to people that would ask, why do you watch wrestling? Do you know it's fake? I remember back then my answer would just be, it's entertainment. I knew that at a young age, right? But about storytelling, man, it was like, people didn't understand that that's why I was watching this. It's no different than watching a movie. When you go to see a movie, you don't say, oh, the Avengers is fake. You enjoy it for what it is. You enjoy it for the story that they're telling. Their stories just happen to be in front of thousands of people, live action, which I think is even more impressive, that they only get to tell this story to you one time. If they mess up, they messed up. It's so much skill and talent in what they do, to make you believe. Because think about how much of a talent that is. You can fill up a stadium with 80,000 people that understand that what they're seeing isn't real, but you're doing it so well that we don't exactly know which part is fake. So now we are so drawn in by these two people who talked about everything they doing before they got out there. But they make us all believe so much that we stand up on our seats and get so emotionally. Listen, I'm going to keep it so real. It has been wrestling matches that have made me cry like a movie. Bro, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm going to name something right now. I don't even care who listening to this. Like I told you, I don't give a shit. Listen.
There's wrestling fans out there going, yes, keep going.
But for all my wrestling fans out there, I'm going to name some of them for y'all. I can't watch WrestleMania 7 Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man Randy Savage without crying. I can't watch... It was a Cody Rhodes match.
Really?
That gave me goosebumps. I didn't cry on this particular match.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
It might have been Dustin versus Cody in AEW that gave me chills and goosebumps. But I'm trying to think of the matches that made me just shake my head.
I know one for me. It was I can think of a couple where I was so emotionally invested. But one I remember is I was rooting for Jericho and I was rooting for CM Punk. My friend was rooting for Jericho in their match at WrestleMania. So we're just sitting there, and that match was so back and forth.
Yes.
It was crazy.
Yes.
It was my favorite match from the night. I remember, and so I'm like, and he's like, because he thinks his guy's gonna win, and I think my guy's gonna win. It was so. I remember when I think CM Punk won, he threw the brush he was holding, and it was very dramatic.
Bro, my favorite CM Punk match that had me that I could watch over and over. First of all, Brock versus CM Punk at SummerSlam was crazy, and also CM Punk versus Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think it was 29, the one that was at MetLife Stadium in New York, bro. CM Punk, one of the greatest to ever do it. I don't care what he do backstage and what his personality is like. All I know is he gave me those feelings of, another one that's super crazy, and this is before your time, but if you ever get a chance, watch it. Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13. Bret Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin at Survivor Series in 96. But I'm trying to, I want to think, because I really want to let my emotional side out and let people know the other matches that I cried on. But the one that comes to mind offhand is Warrior versus Savage. And I'm going to tell y'all why. For all of y'all watching this and be like, Jon Connor cried watching wrestling. You damn right I cried. Because I'm going to tell you why. It was Macho Man Randy Savage, right? Ultimate Warrior. They put their careers on the line, right? So it's a career match. First career match that I can remember watching, right? It's at WrestleMania.
And that's real. That might as well be real.
Right? Yeah. Showcase of the Immortals, right? It's going down. Normally, the storytelling starts right from when they come out the curtain. Ultimate Warrior normally runs to the ring, walks to the ring, because this match is deeper than any shit that he ever did.
Now, for those that aren't familiar, wrestling entrances are such a part of wrestling. So to break that, because that's what Ultimate Warrior was known for. He came out like swinging.
That was the allure of Ultimate Warrior. Come out there, run to the ring, shake the ropes. Not at WrestleMania 7, my friend. He's walking down to the ring. Randy Savage got the white, silver, and purple. He flexing. All his WrestleMania gear was crazy. So now, him and Warrior looking at each other in the middle of the ring. Ultimate Warrior takes his jacket off, right? On the back of the Ultimate Warrior tights, it has a picture of the WWF Championship belt. And it says the words, "This match means more than this." Wow. Come on, man. So now, we living in a day and age. This is 1991, y'all. If you hit somebody with your finish, 1, 2, 3, it was over, right? Here's the first time I can remember as a kid. The Warrior hits Macho Man with his finish. And Macho Man is a heel. He kicks out of the Ultimate Warrior's finish, right?
And everybody's just like, no one's ever kicked out of that ever.
No one's ever. The commentary, Bobby Heenan, Gorilla Monsoon, legendary. Macho Man Randy Savage, and I'll make it quick because I know y'all want to get back to talking about rap and music and stuff.
This is the important stuff.
This is the important stuff. The music is we'll get back to that. So Macho Man hits Ultimate Warrior with his finish, which was a flying elbow off the top rope, right? 7 times back to back to back.
Yeah.
And you thinking for sure this is it. Ultimate Warrior kicks out. So now, long story short, Ultimate Warrior wins the match, right? So at the time, Sherry Martel is Macho Man's manager, right? She's the sensational Queen Sherry. And she's yelling at Macho Man Randy Savage, get up, I can't believe you lost. I can't believe this, right? She slaps Macho Man. She kicks him when he's down. He just lost his career. Now he losing his girl. Miss Elizabeth, who was Macho Man's real life wife, she jumps over the barricade, runs down the aisle, smacks the shit out of sensational Sherry. Macho Man sees Elizabeth. He start crying. She start crying. The audience start crying. And if you don't cry when you watch WrestleMania 7, Savage versus Warrior, you ain't got no soul. You ain't got no heart. I don't know how you can get through it without fucking crying. And that is my WrestleMania 7 story.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's the storytelling. That's what makes it so powerful. It's this fact that they set up those stakes and that the match had all those twists and turns. That's what makes you geared up to cry. It's every single step of the way that leads to that final moment where that release comes.
Yeah. And here's one from your era. WrestleMania 23, which I was there for because it was at, where the Lions play at? What is it? Ford Field. So 23 was at Ford Field. Shawn Michaels and John Cena, because I felt like John Cena this is when the whole Let's Go Cena sucks thing started, right? And he put in so much work in that match. Like it was just like, he had a look on his face at the end of WrestleMania 23, like, what more do y'all want from me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck did I do to y'all? Like,
but what it's always been is that Super Cena concept.
Correct.
This idea that you're this guy that can come in and just win everything, and we all know it's because Vince loves you.
Exactly. Same thing Roman Reigns had to go through.
Yeah.
And I feel like Roman caught it crazier than Cena. Because it was like with Roman, it was so blatant. Like
I think it's because Roman doesn't know how to talk as well as Cena.
Exactly. Because at least Cena could lean back on the fact that he was a good talker on the mic, and it took Roman. It took a little while for him to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't now. Again, I'm not familiar with how it is now. So does he still have a mouthpiece, or is he on his own now?
Well, he got Paul Heyman now.
Okay, so that's what I thought, and that's the best way to treat somebody like Roman Reigns, right? You're not great on a mic. That's what Paul Heyman's always been best at. Is being the guy.
Agreed.
To fill that space. That's why he's a Brock Lesnar guy.
Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman, CM Punk, Paul Heyman, Roman, Paul Heyman, K-Miss, man.
Yeah, when he joined CM Punk, that was my introduction to him. So just imagine that.
Really?
Yeah.
Your introduction to Paul E was through CM Punk?
Yeah.
Bro, you making me feel so old right now. Because, bro, I remember when Paul Heyman was Paul E Dangerously in WCW. Yeah. And he used to have his... Are you familiar with the show Saved by the Bell? Zach Morris?
Yeah.
And Zach Morris used to have this big brick cell phone. Well, Paulie Dangerously, that was his gimmick. And so when he wanted to cheat, he'd hit people with the cell phone. So that was my first introduction to Paul Heyman, was he was Paulie Dangerously. And here's another just old school wrestling fact for you. Paul Heyman used to manage Steve Austin when he was stunning Steve Austin. And
before Austin 316.
Before Austin 316. So yeah, that was my first introduction to Paul Heyman. He was Paulie Dangerously in WCW.
Yeah.
So you don't know nothing about Paul Heyman being the owner of ECW and all of that?
I know tiny bits and pieces. And I know he's one of the best people to listen to when it comes to conversations in that industry. Because he's a guy he's not going to talk down on people, but he keeps it real 100% of the time. That's what makes him so good.
Yeah.
He's doing that during promos.
Yes.
He always keeps it real.
Yes, he keeps it real while also getting the opponent over and his guy over.
Yeah.
And that's the art of being a manager.
And it's the art of the promo.
Art of the promo.
The art of storytelling.
One promo could make or break you. I watched the Austin 316 promo at King of the Ring in 96. As a kid, I felt it. I was in 6th grade. And when he said that shit, when Austin 316 says, I just whipped your ass, I was like, oh, shit. Like, it's like one promo can make or break you. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like in music. One performance on the right or wrong platform can make or break you. You kill it at the Grammys, you a superstar for life. You forget your words on Saturday Night Live, on live TV, then your career could be over, man. So.
Yeah, and that's why it's always best to not do shitty things,
That's
folks.
a fact. That's a
Bring
fact.
it back to that one.
Yep.
What... Actually, I'll go with this one. Is there a balance to confidence? Because I heard you speaking on the value of confidence and why confidence is so important. But it's also true for sure that one can have too much confidence and that can tip over. So where is that balance?
As long as confidence don't turn into arrogance, I think you good. I think that it can be a fine line, but the thing is, what helps me, since you asked me, and I don't know what works for everybody else, is I'm a very spiritual person, right? So I understand that I am a vessel, and whatever I'm doing and whatever gift I have, I'm being allowed to do that. So if I'm looking at it like, thank you, God, like for giving me this gift, it stops Jon from taking the credit for what's happening. So that's what balances me out, is understanding that just as, much talent as I might have today, it can be taken from me tomorrow. I've seen stories where entertainers wake up deaf. Like, you know what I'm saying? I've seen stories where entertainers end up in a freak accident and everything gets taken from them. You dig what I'm saying? So I always keep that in mind. Like, don't become too cocky or don't become a jackass with it. You know what I'm saying? Be confident in your abilities to where you know that you're good at what you do. But when you start... I ain't never been a mark for myself. You feel me? It's like I'm
back
not
on wrestling terms, right?
Right. But you feel me? But it applies. You feel me?
It does.
Like, I'm not the dude that I'm not going. If we on a road trip and somebody want to play Jon Connor music in the car, I'm not on fuck. Like, I feel weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't want. It's like we being a mark for me. I don't want to do that. Like, or like put on some shit I did. Like, did you see me on da da da?
It's like wearing a T-shirt with your face on it,
bro. I just told. Shouts to Lindsay. Get well soon, Lindsay. I was telling Lindsay this because we getting new merch made, right, for the release of the new album, and I'm like, yo, I need a shirt like that doesn't have like my face on it, or because they had these shirts at first that just said Jon Connor. I'm like, how fucking ridiculous would that be if I wore a shirt that said Jon Connor? Like, stop it, give it a fucking rest. Like, yo,
it's a bit redundant, don't you think?
Right, I'm me. And I told, she was like, why don't you want to wear that shirt? I said, think about if you had a shirt that just said Lindsay. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like wearing a name tag.
Right, wearing a name tag. Like, fucking, what are we doing? So it's like, no, I never want to wear a shirt that got my face on it, or I never want to wear a shirt that just has my name. So we got these cool shirts coming out that say the People's Rapper, and I think that's the balance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, now I could wear my merch without looking like a fucking asshole. Yeah. But but that's the thing though. Don't let your confidence turn into arrogance. Humbly accept, you know what I'm saying, the gift that has been given to you. Use it to make the world a better place. It's not for you to have a big head about, because like I said, you can lose it just as fast as you find it, because nothing in life is guaranteed. So I just think that you'll know that fine line, because if you pay attention to the people around you, if you're handling your confidence in the proper way, people will want to give you your accolades, your roses, your flowers. People will want to tell you did a good job. If you feel like you're good at what you do and nobody ever tells you you're good, it's because you're probably being an asshole, and you probably tell yourself that you're good enough for everybody in the room, to where people are like, fuck it. Well, if you already know, fuck it. I don't feel like telling you you're good at what you do. So that's a good gauge on it. You dig?
You attract the energy that you are.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you are putting that energy out there, that I am that guy that gets shit done, people look at you as that dude.
Man.
If you really don't believe that, then people look at you as that dude.
That dude.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be that dude.
Oh, he's that dude.
Exactly.
Do you ever struggle not to read comments? You ever find yourself trying to read those things?
Terry Crews once told me, he said, don't read comments, because if you believe the good things they say about you, you have to believe the bad things they say about you. So, no, I don't really struggle. I remember when I was younger, I probably did, but not so much now, because I genuinely thank God, like, this is one of the redeeming qualities of being an Aries, is that we truly don't give a fuck, like, about what people think about us or opinions like that. Like, I don't really care. Not to say that in a egotistical way, but it's like the feeling of care. Like, I don't possess that for people's negative energy. You know what I'm saying? And then whatever positive energy I'm supposed to get back, you know, the Most High will make sure I'll cross paths with those people. But the internet is just a fucking cesspool of negative energy. You could be anybody, man. It's people that make negative comments about Michael Jackson. I feel like he was the greatest artist to ever live. So who do I think I am? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's people that got negative comments about Prince, negative comments about Madonna, negative comments about just, you could think of whoever, like, you know, negative comments about Beyonce. So it's like, why read it? Know who you are on the inside and just keep rocking with that. And it's always going to be people that don't like you for whatever reason. You could be anybody, so why even pay attention to those things? There's always going to be people that love you. There's always going to be people that hate you. So cater to your fans and not your critics. Don't cater to your critics. Cater to the people that do like you. You're not going to please everybody in the world. One of my favorite comedians is Jerry Seinfeld, right? It was something like 7 million people, 8 million people. I'm paraphrasing. Don't quote me on that. But I remember it was a humongous number of people that watched the last
That's
episode.
The real number.
Right. The real number is humongous. So it was like...
you just switched from that to that.
Exactly.
Nah, I don't got a real number. The humongous.
Well, just say humongous.
Yeah.
So it was like a bunch of people that watched like the last episode of Seinfeld, right?
Yeah.
And whatever that number is, it still was a bunch of millions more people that didn't watch it. So does that make it a failure or success? Well, that just all depends on what you base failure and success off of. It's people that sell 10 million copies, but then there's billions of people in the world. So even 10 million record sales could be a failure to somebody. You know what I'm saying? I remember me and my father talked about it one time. He said, the album Bad by Michael Jackson, they considered it a failure because it sold 90 million records. And it was only a failure because Thriller sold 100 million. So it's like, you can't please everybody. It's always going to be some scale that people are putting you on to make you a failure or a success. It's about what you believe in yourself. So no, I don't really have problems not reading people's comments because I don't allow those things to enter my brain and affect my decision making.
Yeah. I just said today, the only comparison worthy of making is between one and oneself.
That's it.
We are not the world. Because
period.
We're not the world. You can't change the way that this and this and this is going to react to what you do. And that's what you see in success as well, is that people recognizing they're not the world and just doing them and what they're going to do regardless of whatever the world told them to do.
Period.
Yeah.
Some of the best stories, success stories in life come from people who nobody believed in them. Like if you look at Tyler Perry's story, there was a point in time where he was homeless. And, look at him now. I think they said, on top of him having his own movie studio, he even, I think now is in negotiations to be the owner of BET and VH1. You go from homeless to that. You look at Vince McMahon. We were just talking about pro wrestling. Him and Linda had to damn near sell their house for the first WrestleMania to happen. Jay-Z couldn't get a record deal. They said he rapped too fast. They said he wasn't marketable. They said, and now he's Jay-Z, and everybody want to go to the Rock Nation brunch. You feel me? Now the same industry that wouldn't accept him in, he's in control of it. So it's like, man, every story comes from these astronomical odds that you have to go through, because those things that you go through on the journey are what gives you the character to become who you're supposed to be. So embrace it.
I think the reason people forget that is because it's always now. Like, we see everyone as they are now. And so it's hard for me to remember or imagine what you were 5 or 10 years ago, before you had a deal, before you ever got signed, before you did this or that, before you dropped the iPhone, before you were in that movie that everyone recognizes you by. I don't remember that guy because he's not who you are to me now, and it's always now. And I think it's so hard for people to take themselves out of that and think about things in a grander perspective, and that those successful people were not that. We all were not that at some point. You're not what you were.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And that's why I think these type of mediums, for us to communicate like this, I think that's why it's so important for me to reiterate. Before I ever got signed to Dr. Dre or was on songs with Snoop and Kelly Price or whoever the case, DJ Paul, I went to Powers Catholic High School. Before that, I went to St. John Vianney School on Bagley Street in Flint, Michigan. I grew up on the north side of Flint. I grew up playing at Civic Park on the north side. I got my heart broke by girls. I was a sucker for love. Like, you know what I'm saying? I always try to make sure I humanize myself, because it is easy for people to be like, oh, well, that happened for you, or it was easy to happen. Like, me and Mattia Cleaves didn't grow up together. I was working hard, and that's what attracted him to me and my journey. I didn't grow up with Dr. Dre. I was working hard, and that's what attracted him to my journey. It's like these things weren't just given to me. Like, it was work hard. You know, we love to put people on pedestals, whether it's God bless the dead Kobe Bryant, or whether it's LeBron James. Okay, we see the championship games, but we don't see when the cameras ain't rolling and they doing 1,000 jump shots every night. You know what I'm saying? That's the things that you don't see. The things that you don't see about Jon Connor is, when I was in high school, when everybody was chasing booty and chasing girls, you know what I'm saying, trying to get them some tail or whatever, I was telling girls I can't do it. And if you do want to rock with me, you got to come to the studio. And then after I get done at 3 o'clock in the morning, if I'm up enough and if you still feel like getting down, then cool. But nothing came before the music. Nothing came before my drive. I was terribly afraid of flying on airplanes, but when I had to go to Full Sail, it was, I'll suck up that fear, get on as many airplanes as I need to get on, if that's what it's going to take for me to be successful. Like I said, in high school, I wasn't going to parties. I was a square. I'm still a square now, because I'm just being in the studio and doing what I got to do and chasing the dream. That's what's fun to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, those are the things that people don't see. People don't see when I was first coming up, passing out CDs. For one, another thing they didn't see is back in the day, and for the younger people that's listening to this, so CDs, right? We used to have to put our music on CDs. So I had 2 CD burners, and they were on a regular computer. It took 15 minutes per CD to burn, right? I burned 3,000 CDs by myself. 15 minutes a piece, and that's me waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
The kids listening to her, imagining you lighting CDs on
and
fire.
The term burning means to duplicate or make replicas of the CD. A CD is a compact disc which has music.
Tell them what a Walkman is.
Right. So a Walkman is a prehistoric device in which you put
prehistoric. When the dinosaurs were there.
Yes, there were dinosaurs and cavemen and the whole nine. But you know, those are the things about my journey that people didn't see. People think that my journey started with Mattia Cleaves. It didn't. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was grind. There was me performing in hole-in-the-wall clubs with 2 or 3 people there, and I'm going hard and performing like it's the Grammys or whatever the case. That's the things that attracted the people, the Mattia Cleaves, the Dr. Dre's, the Young Savs. That's what attracted those people to me. And those are the parts of the story that you don't see. So while we live in this era, in this generation of, you know, TikTok and Instagram, and if it didn't happen on the gram, it didn't happen at all, y'all got to shake that shit off, because the things that you don't see are how you are able to live that life that people see on the gram. Everybody that you see on Instagram is working 1,000,000 times harder. They post and then they get right back to work. And some of the most successful people that I've ever been around, they don't even control their own Instagram, because they don't got time for that shit, because they're thinking about like the next move. You know what I'm saying? You can't think about your next move if you're so infatuated on making people believe that you're some big shot, or if I'm too focused on flexing on other people, then that's taking time away from my own personal grind. Do you actually want to be successful, or you just want to look successful? And it's the difference. If you want to be successful, after you post, get right back to what you're doing. Let posting be a part of your journey as far as your craft and like getting to that next level, but stop making it I need to be in competition with people. It's the things that people don't see that allow you to live the lifestyle that you're trying to live.
Yeah. I had a thought while you were saying all this, that blood, sweat, and tears are not very photogenic.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, there's a reason you don't see those photos.
That's a fact.
Nobody wants to.
Right?
They wouldn't even understand it if they saw it.
If they saw it.
Yeah.
You dig? That's why I love that people getting so, into health and fitness, right?
Yep.
And what I love seeing on the gram is when people post like they fitness journey, right? And then they show themselves in the gym. And then you can see months of them literally transforming. I think the human body is a metaphor for life itself. You're gonna look and feel however like however much work you put into it. You feel me? So people that got crazy abs they worked for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, if you see people and they got the little toys as far as they cars and houses and jewelry, okay, they worked for that. So put that time in. Why don't we start showing that on Instagram? Start showing them times where you just fucked up and you in the studio going crazy, which is a cool segue that I got a web show coming out. I think I might call it Counterculture, or I might call it How Did I Get Here? I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but I
vote Counterculture.
You like Counterculture?
That's great.
So I've been taping my whole life since I was probably 11, 12 years old. So the reason why I'm doing the web show is because I want people to see that. I don't want people to just look at my life from the little bookmarks that they were able to see. He was on the freshman cover. He was at the BET Awards. He did this. He did that. No. I want to show people the shit that's in the middle. I want them to see when I was battling in high school. I want them to see it's stuff on this documentary and this docuseries, this web series, where it's me in the basement by myself talking to the camera. I'm like 22, 23 years old, saying my like affirmations, looking crazy as hell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just looking in the camera like, yo, I'm so tired right now, but I got to keep pushing. So it's like, I want people to see those things. And so the web series is coming out, man, just to show those things that you were just talking about, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and how long did it take to put that web series together?
Well, my man William Bly, he's actually still putting it together right now. So we're working on the first 6 episodes right now. So it's still in progress. So I'm going to keep everybody posted on it. And
is that the idea, to, I guess, put face to everything that you're doing to help people feel out who Jon Connor really is?
Absolutely. I think that my story only has pieces to it, and I want to connect the dots for people. You dig? Like, I think that there's the Mo Cleaves era, there's the Best in the World era, there's he got signed to Aftermath, and then there's the aftermath of AVMG and to where I am now, right? But there's a whole lot of things in between each of these things. Like, it didn't go that smooth. It wasn't I woke up one day, met Mateen Cleaves, and boom, I started coming out with the Best in the World series, and then boom, I met Dr. Dre, and then boom, it's like it didn't happen like that. It was a whole lot of crazy shit, a whole lot of hard times, a whole lot of, having to encourage myself and keep going. And there was a lot of lines in between those dots that people know about my story, these significant times in my life, and I want to fill in the blanks for people.
Yeah, make it make sense.
Make it make sense.
How has all Varsity music changed since its conception?
Wow. I think it changed in the sense of, in the beginning, it started with me and my childhood best friend, Jason Monk. And I think that for a long time, because the company was built off 2 children who believed in each other, I think I held on to that for a long time, that I always wanted, no matter what, for that to be the foundation of all Varsity Music Group. And because I was always inspired by No Limit, Rockefeller, Cash Money, I always wanted to have like a roster and just do that whole thing on some like Wu-Tang, Rockefeller type shit. And I think that the change now, because through the years I always wanted to sign people, I always wanted to produce whole albums or whatever the case may be. I think now Because one of the biggest changes that I'm the only artist on all Varsity Music Group, which is a lot easier to manage. You know what I'm saying? If you're your own artist and you're your only artist, that's one thing that's cool, and it frees up a lot of space for a lot of ideas. You know what I'm saying? But what the cool thing about it now is, all Varsity Music Group, what it represents to me is the idea of it. Like, you don't have to sign a bunch of people in order to help them. You don't have to have somebody, because I don't like the structure of the music business as it is. I don't like the idea of signing people, like you owning another human, owning them. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm down to do partnerships and I'm down to help people, but I don't, the older I've gotten and the more educated I've gotten on the music business, I just don't even like the idea of that. I don't like that. So the way it's changed the most is, like I say, I'm the only artist, and I'm not really looking to sign artists anymore. I'll still help artists, and I think that, you know, God bless the dead, Mr. Bernard Terry, who is a Flint legend, right? I kind of look at life like the way that I perceived he did when it came to helping young people. He never had to sign somebody to help him. If you went to Bernard Terry's studio, he was going to give you all of the wisdom and all of the information and all of the knowledge that you could possibly stand. You know what I'm saying? All out of the goodness of his heart. And never once did he ever say, so, you know, let's sign this contract. And if you want to keep getting this knowledge, then you need to sign to me. Like, you know what I'm saying?
With 5 easy payments, so $10.99.
Exactly. So it's like, I look at him as an inspiration of how I kind of live my life now. For anyone who looks to me for any type of guidance, is I think he did it the right way. That's how AVM, I think, has changed. It's more so, it's still the idea of what it was when me and my friend Jason started it, but I think that it changed as far as how I physically carry it out. Like, I don't want to sign anybody. I still want to help people. I still want to put young artists in position, but I think it doesn't need to be a contract in order for you to do that. And so I think just it's matured as I've matured as a person. And so, yeah, now it's just me, and I'm not looking to sign people, but All Varsity Music now is just the label that facilitates Jon Connor's music, and the idea of All Varsity Music Group is bigger than just music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. I like to think of it as, you know, it's one of those other things where it's just a principle in life that you should follow with agency. If you can have agency, hold on to that for as much as you possibly can. That agency is beyond the value that you see inside of it now. It's so valuable. You only know it when it's gone.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
Right.
It's agency.
Exactly.
And I just think a lot of people, I don't know, they lose touch with that agency and that ability to hold on to their own shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
This is facts.
And it's tough, man. I mean, what would your advice be, with all that being said, to an artist, a rapper who's out here thinking they need to get signed to a label? What would you tell that person?
I would tell them, I'd hate to tell them don't do it, because sometimes it takes for you to burn your hand on the stove to know that it's hot. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times in my life, I would try to stop people from getting their hand burned. But sometimes people just need that experience. Like, ooh, shit, I know it's hot because I burned my hand. Some people, you could just tell them. So
curiosity kills the cat. Sometimes the cat's got to die.
Right. This is very morbid, but sometimes the cat does die. But I would tell, and this is listen, I'll preface this by saying, whatever I'm about to say right now, take the best parts of it and apply it to your life. Anything that doesn't apply to you, or if you feel like, oh, kind of full of shit, then just don't acknowledge that part of it. I would tell a young artist, don't do it. I would tell them to just work hard, work your ass off. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're driven and if that's your goal is to be successful, you're smarter than the people in those offices. Your vision for yourself is something that you can see. And a lot of times when it comes to the system of major labels, you have to sell a team of people on ideas about you that they'll never understand because they didn't grow up where you grew up. You're just another number to them. You know what I'm saying?
You end up translating You just end up going in there and trying to say things the way you think they're trying to hear them.
Exactly.
And it's weird. It's not even a real form of communication anymore.
Right?
Yeah.
So now, at this point, you're trying to sell yourself to a group of people who might not see your vision. They're not going to be as passionate as you are about your vision, about you. And then once you sign, your life is in these people's hands who may not understand your culture, may not understand how you grew up, may not understand anything about you.
And with all that being said, their intentions are different than yours.
Exactly. So now what I would suggest that young artists do is don't be afraid of hard work. Find you a team of people. I don't care if it's your cousin. I don't care if it's your best friend. Find people that are just as passionate about whatever it is as you are. Build with them. Y'all are unstoppable together. That would be my advice. Stop thinking that the deal is the magic wand that's going to save your life. Because let me tell you, even after you get a record deal, you still got to work your ass off. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So now you got these new issues of trying to sell these people on your vision on top of now you got to work as hard as you work to get the deal. You got to work 10 times harder to make the deal manifest into something worth having. You could have a record deal. Do you know, this is good that you asked that question because I wanted to write a movie about this, right? Y'all don't understand how many people right now have record deals that you've never heard of in your entire life. It's probably a bunch of dudes from St. Louis that got record deals right now. You ain't never heard of them in your entire life. There's a bunch of dudes from Texas that got record deals right now. You ain't never heard of them in your entire life. Bunch of dudes from New York that got record deals. You ain't never. So just because you sign a piece of paper that says you have a record deal, that don't necessarily mean you gonna blow. So the thing is, like, why not gamble on yourself? Why not take your life into your own hands? You stay in control of if you blow or not. You stay in control of and make your own hours. But that is the biggest thing that I could say too, because I feel like a lot of people don't know that. When damn. Well, I guess I could get kind of personal on that. So I've been signed to a major record label before, and that was one thing that I noticed, that it was a lot of people that had record deals, and they might just have been in the development point of their deal. It's people, the people that y'all be seeing come out right now probably had record deals for like 5 years. They got signed like 5 years ago, and just they were willing to stay with it and go through the bullshit. And okay, so by the time you hear these people, the music industry been knowing about that person for like 10 years, like before they ever came
sent
out
to another country to hibernate.
Exactly. They got put in the incubator. So if you down to go through the incubation process, cool. But if you not just already buzzing and you got like, if you got like a million streams already before you sign to them, then you might be cool. But if you really just like trying to work it out from the ground up, get ready for the incubator. And that's where you headed. So I would say just take your time. Don't rush it. Anything that's worth having is worth taking your time doing. So, yeah, I would say just do it yourself. And if you go sign a record deal, build your brand and build your worth to a point that they don't have no choice but to put your album out and but to put you out. But other than that, the little twos and fews as far as money that y'all trying to get in, 10,000, 20,000, whatever, you can do that. You can get that on your own. And guess what? You ain't gonna have to split it with nobody but you and your homies if you do it yourself. You get 20,000, you on a major label, you'll be lucky if you get 500 out of it. So be smart, y'all.
And there's a value to having those people with you.
Absolutely.
Those people that you care about rather than these people in suits, too.
Yes.
Because those people that you care about are going to be the ones that you want to give the money to.
Absolutely.
It feels good to do that.
Yes, you struggled with them. So why wouldn't you want to see them eat? The first thing, you know, I've seen a lot of people on major labels, you know, get the people that they love taken away from them, and then those people get replaced with dudes in suits. I don't know if y'all remember the show Entourage, but the main character's name was Vinny Chase, and his manager was his best friend E that he grew up with in Brooklyn. You know, but the industry wanted this other cat named Ari Gold, played by Jeremy Piven. Like, they would have rather Ari Gold be his manager. He's the dude, stereotypical dude in the suit, fast talking. But Vinny Chase kept his homeboy as his manager. And so I think that that's the best way to do it. Keep people around you that loved you before the money and will still love you without it.
All right, man. How did your creative process change when you stopped writing your lyrics down?
Songs got done faster. I stopped I stopped overthinking music. You know, for me, when I was writing raps down, it was overthinking. Now I just let the words come through my spirit and I just let it flow. So easier. It just makes the creation process a little more easier. I trust my instinct. Somebody once told me your first mind is your God thought, so don't ever question it. So whatever the first thing that comes to my mind that I say to this beat, that's what I was supposed to say. And let's not overthink it. That's what it is. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah. When you're doing that, are we talking you're doing a whole 16 bars straight through? Because I know a lot of rappers, they don't write anything down, but it's a lot of, okay, let's do 4 bars, let's do 4 bars, and you're coming up with it bar by bar by bar. Is it the whole thing all at once, sort of like a conventional freestyle, or is it sort of a studio process still?
What's cool is y'all gonna get to see that on the web series as well, like me in the studio doing this, but I punch. Like, it'll come to me, line by line, it'll come to me. So I know people that do that. They say that the way that Jay-Z used to do it was writing the entire thing, you know what I'm saying, in his head. But I've seen footage of like Lil Wayne's creation process, so I would guess mine is similar to his.
I was about to say, I think that's what Wayne does.
Yeah,
is that. Yeah,
where it's like
punching.
Yes, punch as the lines come.
Yeah, and to me, yeah, it's interesting because I just look at it very similar to freestyling. It's capturing the essence of the freestyle inside of recorded material.
That's it.
In the same, it's just not posed as freestyles.
Yeah,
it's the same.
My cousin Brandon, we were in the studio the other day just talking about that, and like you literally like verbatim just said exactly what he said. He like, cuz this is like freestyle. He said it's just freestyling, but just you writing on the mic instead of on paper. Absolutely.
It's exactly what it is.
You know,
what gets me about that is the idea of doing the songs back, because you know, normally you aren't repeating freestyles,
right? But
you do. You perform them on stage. So,
bruh, that's the funniest shit. Cause with me, I literally have to sit there and relearn my shit.
Yeah,
like, I gotta relearn it. Like I was laughing with a friend of mine one time, and I'm like, she's like, how do you remember all of those songs? I'm like, shit, just like you remember the words to my songs. I gotta listen to this shit a minute.
You're learning like a listener, like it's your first time hearing it.
Bro. Yeah. I was just saying this shit. Like, bro, it'd be songs where I listen to like, damn, I kind of went in, or yeah. Shit. But yeah, it's like that.
Because that was just you one day.
One day. That's how I felt that day about that music, and then I went on and did something else.
So with that being said then, how do you approach intentionality with your music? Because if you're writing in that way, there's still an intentionality, of course. Like your songs are about things.
Right.
So is it you enter a studio with something in mind? Like how does that process usually pan out? Where do you know what you're going to write about that, or what you're going to perform that day, I should say?
Mm-mm.
It just kind of comes out in the moment.
Like I say, I give all credit, glory back to the Most High, back to God, back to the divine spirit.
Wow.
Is that I have no idea. Day to day, I'll go down there, and whatever beat I pull up, and then words just come.
It's beautiful because, like, for me, I'm so meticulous about the words. I'll overthink it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I like it this way. To the point where I'll be at work, you know, I'm behind a counter as a cashier, and I'm pushing out receipt papers and I'm grabbing a pen just so I can write out this thread and completely lay it out before I lose it. Like, I have the first line, let's keep this going, and I take that receipt paper home and I perform it. Like, that's me. But you're the opposite. You're waiting until you get there in the studio. It's the complete opposite of me. So it's just interesting. It's that thing about creative processes, though. It's that everybody is different, and that's what makes it beautiful. Mm-hmm. I'm not worried about the fact that you make it that, oh, man, I wish I could just come up with shit on the spot. Man. It doesn't matter. The fact that you can is beautiful. The fact that I write my way is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Words from Dr. Dre. He once told me, John, there's no wrong way to do this. So everybody's probably, and that's what I actually find cool about this whole thing, is I love seeing the different ways that people do it, because there's no wrong way to do it.
Well, you told that story somewhere else, and when you told that story, it's funny because you were nervous. You were telling Dre beforehand, hey, by the way, I didn't write anything down for this, and that's when he gave you that piece of advice.
I really appreciate your attention. You really paid attention to those other interviews, because yes, that is a fact. That is absolutely true. That I was nervous to tell him that I didn't write stuff down, because I'm thinking to myself, I don't want to waste his time. I don't want, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't want him to think I'm on some bullshit, because you know it was normally looked at like you were unprepared if you came to the studio without pen, paper, and your lyrics down. So I'm like, I hope you're not looking at me like I'm not prepared. You know what I'm saying? So I had to stop him because I was writing, and I was like, Dre, I'm like, man, I was like, yo, I don't write lyrics down. And he was like, yo, just do what you do. You know?
And then that whole weight's just gone off your shoulders.
The weight was lifted off my shoulders. Yeah. So from that point on, man, I never second guessed my creative process. It don't matter who I'm working with. It's going to be the same process every time.
It's funny how we just torture ourselves like that.
Yeah, we do.
Because you made that choice.
Yes.
You chose. Oh, Dre's right there. Oh.
Exactly. It's silly.
Nobody made you do it.
At all.
It's so interesting. I just, that's why, again, I try to say lead by example. All we can do is give people the right words.
That's a fact.
Hey, no, just don't think that. Just don't even think it.
Period.
But you got to hear someone tell you that first.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And it's better when it's people you look up to, right?
That's a fact.
I mean, if Dre didn't say that, you might not have taken it in just quite like that.
That's a fact. I hope, hopefully I would have. You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? But yes, you're right.
I mean, broken clocks are right twice a day.
Twice a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I always listen to broken clocks.
Come on now.
I'm always staring at them.
Come on now.
Like, man, that thing's gonna. At one point today, I got a broken clock right out there. At some point during today, it will be right.
It will be right. That's a fact.
It's not broken. It just needs batteries.
That's a fact. Where did I first hear that phrase at? Jay-Z.
Really?
Jay-Z. That was the first time I ever heard that. It was on. I think it's that song with him and what is my man's name? Rockstar. It is pissing me off. I hate when I get caught like this. Damn. I'm gonna sing one of his songs. This is about to be terrible.
Do you remember?
I want to get away. I want to. Who is that?
Oh, I want to get away.
Yeah. Y'all excuse our terrible singing. Why is his name not coming to me right now?
All right, I'm the one with the phone in their hands, so I'm going to quickly do it.
But I always like using my brain, so I'm really about to...
All right. I'll tell you when you want to know.
The name of the song is on Blueprint 2. It's called Guns N' Roses. It's Jay-Z featuring, and Heavy D did the beat. Why can't I remember all of the credits from this song? And why is my man's name not coming to my head right now?
L.
Lenny Kravitz.
That was it.
I was even about to say his daughter's in Batman. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, yes, Lenny Kravitz. But yes, that was the first time I ever heard that statement. We spent way too much time on that just for that
I
to
let
be
you keep going. I was like, he's really committed to remembering
because
this.
It pisses me off, man. When I anytime I'm on the spot and I can't remember somebody's name, because that happens often. Sorry to Lenny Kravitz, because it's not nothing personal. It's just that happens to me. I get these brain farts where when I'm on the spot, I cannot remember.
You know why it drives me nuts? Because I remember the next day when I didn't need to.
When I don't need to. Yeah. It's like when you find the remote control when you was looking for your left sock or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, where the fuck was this at when I was looking for it?
As soon as I give up looking, it's almost a joke.
Right.
As soon as I give up, I sit down and it's where I was going to sit.
Facts.
That's how it happens for me.
All the time.
What also gets me is that, and then losing my train of thought in a conversation like this, where we have a good flow going, and then I just... What were we saying again?
Exactly.
Those two things are my biggest pet peeves conversationally.
I feel
beyond anything, because I'm all about, like, where are we at right now? I'm all about, I'm in this moment.
Yes.
And if I lose it, I'm better than that.
Right, I'm better than that.
That was a bad representation of my skills. That wasn't Ruse right there. You didn't see him.
See, that's how I feel about the Lenny Kravitz thing right now.
That's what I'm saying.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like because I know that shit happens to me sometimes when I watch interviews back, I be like, I'm so happy I remembered that shit because I know that it happened. You feel me? It's like a W.
I look so good right there.
I look good right there. I got it off. Like, yo, I sounded smart as fuck right there.
That's the Jon Connor they think I am.
You feel me? That is, it's the mask, bruh. It is what it is. You're really just fooling everybody half the time.
Ruse. That's why my name is Ruse. Mm-hmm. I look at everything that way. Mm-hmm. The better you are at portraying an idea, the better you are at fooling the people. And everything we do is a ruse.
Right.
The fact that any of this even makes sense is just reality putting a ruse on top of things that don't make sense.
You damn
the fact
right.
that we're having this conversation, we're making sense of a thing that doesn't make sense. You know, I reached out to you 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden you're here. That's how life goes.
That's how life goes.
None of it makes any sense at all. It's all a ruse.
And when you try to make sense of it, you just frustrate yourself. All of this, bro, we're going to have to do this again because I enjoy talking to you.
For sure.
I enjoy our banter, man.
Our rapport.
Yes, we have a good rapport. Bruh, think about it. None of it literally makes sense.
And none of it is what it portrays itself to be.
Think about it. Dude, I put a post up the other day about, I said the only thing that could be ugly about a human being is attitude and the way you treat people. Because when you think about it, we are all funny looking like a motherfucker. Like, you feel me? What the fuck are we? Like, we have these two things, and we have a fucking, you feel me? We have these bone teeth. We have, what the fuck? Like, what are we really? And then I'm talking into this magical thing that can hold my voice, and then it's going into some alien technology computer shit that's making my voice in the way. None of this shit makes sense. So when you start trying to make shit that's magical make sense, you taking the joy and fun out of what life is supposed to be. Like, all of this shit is some mystical, magical, other shit that doesn't make sense. So stop trying to make sense out of it.
And children recognize that
early.
Yeah.
And then we fucking like intellectualize them to death and try to conform them into our little box of normality. When kids come out the womb, they know exactly what it is. They know, oh, this is some magical shit I'm a part of, and I'm supposed to just play and have fun and laugh and feel good, until we start saying shit like, don't do this, don't do that, you own punishment, shut up, turn that down. It's like, stop it. I think success is when you can do what you love, stay in tune with that inner child, and never lose that about yourself. That's why I don't care what studio I'm in, I'll put wrestling on. If they got a TV on, I'll put WWF on. It was so many times at the studio at Aftermath where Drea walk in the studio and I got WrestleMania on, and John watching this shit again. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, yes, because I understand that all of this shit is ridiculous, and no matter what we call ourselves or what we portray to be, we are all spiritual beings in some type of orb.
Yeah.
Like that, you feel me? It's ridiculous. Y'all don't get me to talk in my physiological standpoint on life, because it'll get crazy. It will.
Well, it's interesting too, because you got to be careful not to zoom out too far, because while it is all meaningless in the sense that it isn't what it's meant to be, it's as meaningful as you want it to be.
As you want it to be.
So if things do have depth, it's not as if you zoom all the way out and you say that everything is just abstract and be based on that. There is no purpose. It's that the perspective is the perspective. There's all these different ways to look at it, and you can find different perspectives. And
absolutely,
you can put a new perspective on tomorrow that you didn't have on today, and all of a sudden that's a brand new story.
Yes.
Yeah, life is a beautiful, beautiful thing. One quote I really love is, "Be childlike, not childish."
There we go.
And that's really it, because I thought for a while, the reason I am this way is because I'm basically a child. I have this child within me that is still alive, and I have this childlike curiosity. But that's it right there, that childlike curiosity, because you still have to make mature decisions. You still have to look at things in a mature way, but you still hold on to whatever that is, that beauty in the world, that spark, that fact that, hey man, it's crazy that I even have this person in front of me and I'm able to open my mouth and convey an idea, and all of a sudden they know that idea. That's magic.
Magic.
It's magical. And I think art and music is magic because of what happens when I make something and you tell me something that I never thought of when I was making it.
Yep.
To me, that's magic.
It is.
Because we just made something together and we didn't even realize we were making it.
Yep.
That's magic.
That's magic.
There's magic in the air.
And bro, it's an artist here, a young lady by the name of Enjoy Melody, right? And we work together from time to time. And another artist, her name is Breela Renee from Flint too, right? Super talented. We was working on my album 3, and there's a song called Bulletproof on there, right? And it was such a beautiful moment because I'm writing the hook to it, right? And we got the music playing super loud. And when I write singing parts of songs, normally the tones come to me first. So I'm doing my whole Rain Man thing. I'm, going through the motions. And I couldn't think of the words, right? And then Breela says something that triggers something in Joy. And then it was like, that's it. And then it was such a beautiful moment. All of us got teary-eyed at the same time because it was like, wow. It was like, those are the moments where you unlock the magic that life is supposed to be, when there's no selfishness. Because a lot of times, especially in rap music, when you get in the studio with people, is I want to be better than this person, or who they think they is, my idea better than that person. It's such a selfishness and just a misled sense of competition that people have when they're in the studio. And I love being in studio sessions where people just allow the magic to happen. That's why anytime I collaborate with people, I say, let's make magic, because that's what it is. We get down there and the God in you connects with the God in you, and the God in me connects with the God in them. And then before you know it, there's this magical piece of art that came out of everyone being loving, unselfish, and happy.
Yeah, and if there's a representative of God, it would be the art itself. That is the collection, not the singular person.
Period. Because to make that, you had to do it together. You had to experience the magic together. Yes, just piggybacking off what you said, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think of all the things that couldn't have been done unless this happened first, you know? And I think that it's like a jam session, you know? You can't really jam if you're not working with one another.
Yes.
It makes the quote pop into my head, happiness isn't real unless shared. And what is the value of that happiness if I'm not giving it to you, if I'm not trying to share it with you? And it's that shared happiness in that moment that made it so powerful.
That's a fact.
That couldn't have been felt by one person. It had to be
all.
All three, all at once.
Yep.
Boom.
Boom.
And then it's a moment that just represents life itself. It becomes that.
Yeah, that's why I love the Avenger movies. You watching people that could save the world on their own individually, but to save the galaxy, we got to trust each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big Avengers person. I'm a big team movie thing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's that concept that things are bigger than us.
Are way bigger than us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm infinitely humble in that regard because I can't even forget it if I tried. Every piece of success I've ever gotten is based on the fact that I was reaching out to other people. Every single time, that's how it happens. I think that's how most people's lives are when they want to self-reflect.
That's a fact.
Happiness isn't real unless shared. Neither is success either, really.
Yes. Yes, you're exactly right. I know a lot of successful people. Like I say, it's not success if you're not happy. So the thing is, I know people who have a lot of material things, I'll say that, and they're miserable. Like I've seen people be suicidal and go through depression, but you look at them and you think that they are in the perfect position, but it's like they're miserable because they're not surrounded by love. They're not sharing this with people that have their best intention at heart. So you're absolutely correct.
Yeah. And who are we without the people we love? What is a life without love?
Period.
It doesn't exist.
At all.
Yeah.
We literally all got here because two people loved each other enough to share a moment of intimacy. That is literally why it's called making love. What are we? I feel like love is what you are. Like, I feel like love is what you are. Like, so when two people come together and make love, what comes out of that? Another human. So two people had to love each other literally for the human race to even exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That's why I think of God having to be a woman. It's the only thing that makes sense because birth is everything.
Everything, right?
And birth is the product of love.
Right.
So you can't have those things without these things. You
Period.
need love. You need birth.
Period.
And there's something about the genesis, and that to me, that's what attracts me to the creative process too. Is that love, that birth, that creation. I made that. That wasn't there, and now it is.
Now it is.
And that's what the universe is here for.
Yep.
That's what we're here for.
Period.
Is to bring things to fruition from our minds.
Yep.
That's
it.
magic.
Magic. We are all mini creators.
Yes, we are.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. And that's what we're here to do. Create from that feeling of love over and over and over again. Your purpose in life is what you give it, as long as love is the foundation of it. Give yourself a task. Make sure love is at the helm, and watch how things unfold for you.
There's a song I wrote recently where I cap it off with, "What's a life if a love ain't alive? Show me proof that it happened. Love made us survive." Because you can't show me proof. Every single life is a product of love.
Come on now. Period.
Yeah. I've been on that.
Period. Period.
Love's my whole thing, man.
That's what everybody's thing should be.
It's what everybody's thing should be. This is the thing that I like to tell people is, one love means more than you think it means. It's one love, as in, I love everything. I love everyone. Yep. That's the one love. There's not more than one. No. There's only one love.
Only one.
It's a love without bounds. It's a love that would love anything regardless of what it's done. That's what God's love is. It's the love that is beyond anything in the physical realm. It's
Absolutely.
a love for the humanity itself.
Period.
That's the one love.
Period.
But people just say one love thinking like, oh, peace.
Right. Like, no, it's way deeper. Going back to what we said earlier in the conversation about defining love, for me, how I came to define love was, okay, somebody asked me, I asked myself, okay, whatever God feels for me and what I feel for God, that's what love is, and that's what it is all the time. So if you don't feel like that, then you shouldn't say it. You should figure out what other word means what you actually mean. If you just infatuated with somebody, say that. I'm infatuated with you. If you like them, say I like you. Because now that I've defined what love is, and now that I feel like I have a grasp on what it is, if that's not what the feeling I feel is, then I just won't say it.
Yeah, like you defined addiction as love.
You feel me?
Yeah, and when you do that, that's a dangerous game.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I feel like I've went through that myself in some ways, shapes, and forms. It's only in retrospect that you realize it, too. Wait a minute, that wasn't love.
That wasn't love. That was something else.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That was something else. Because what came back out of that isn't what I define me and the creator's relationship to be. So anything that's not that, then it's probably not that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just point blank, period. Like, so many people's problems can get solved if they just define the words that they're using. But it's a generational thing. Most people's parents didn't define these words. Most people's grandparents didn't define these words. So if you are fortunate enough to be somebody who wakes up and has a reflection of self, it's your sole responsibility, and you almost don't even have nobody to even bounce ideas off of because everybody else around you didn't go through that same process. You dig? So it's like, it's a tough thing to unlearn the things that we've learned, because a lot of times we have to unlearn, like, Our dad probably was using the word love wrong. Our grandparents was probably using the word love wrong. So now you gotta undo generations of wrong thinking so that you can at least have a chance to love properly. At least that's how I see it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's just like that thing too, where it's the way you address things. I mean, you're taught to do it a certain way. That's why you'll see people fall into traps like thinking, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. Well, why'd you set it up like that in your own head? You already set yourself up for failure. Who taught you that one? Because that's just a bad setup from the start. I can't do that, or that wasn't good enough, or just, I see it all the time because I just learned, I'm a conversationalist. I've learned it's bad conversationally for me to ever not just continue rolling with whatever I'm doing. Even if I misspeak, even if I do something embarrassing.
Right.
Like I do something, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Don't acknowledge it. Don't say, maybe I shouldn't have done that. You learn that in customer service, too. Because if you're working with the customer and you say to the customer's upset that you did something wrong, or maybe you hand them the wrong drink, whatever it is, right? You say, I'm sorry. And what a lot of people do is they'll apologize like 10 times. Like, no, you just go off the attitude of the customer. If they were cool with it from the first time, stop bringing it up.
Exactly. Because
don't even mention it.
You can make something out of nothing.
Now you made it a big deal. Yeah. Because they didn't even really care. And so it's like, but that's the story you told yourself, and that bled off into reality. Because now they're feeling like, but it's just that. It's that just roll with whatever it is you do. Don't second guess yourself all the time. Period. Everybody's constantly second guess to a point where they'll just sit around and think about thinking, and they don't do anything. No, just don't even think about doing it. Just do it, and just then that's what people respect. But it's tough, man. It's tough to not. Because I think another part of it, too, is when you are someone who's philosophical and you are someone who is trying to get to the bottom of ideas, it can be frustrating to be in that world where people aren't concerned with meanings and people aren't concerned with philosophy, generally speaking. People aren't concerned with the way that we come to conclusions. It's just a matter of most opinions aren't even real opinions. They're things that are heard that are just said. It's just people repeating things.
You're regurgitating some shit you heard somebody else say. It's not even your real opinion.
So to me, that's a big part of the struggle too, is just breaking through that mold and being okay with thinking for yourself in a world where a lot of people are comfortable not doing that.
Right.
Because it's stressful to be that guy.
It is.
Ignorance is bliss.
It is, like a motherfucker. So, like, man. You know what? I'm gonna do this. I was thinking about doing a web series too called "Revising Revisionist History" with Jon Connor, and it's gonna question just like a lot of things that I feel like in life have just become facts, whether they're real facts or not. It's just you've been told it so many times that that's what you believe. I get like one in particular, and I'm not saying he is or he isn't. Jay-Z is one of my favorite rappers, right? But I think that Jay-Z, the greatest rapper of all time, is just like a piece of information now that I think that children are born into. Like, you're supposed to say that. And if you don't say that, then how could you, you know what I'm saying? It's certain movies that people like, yo, let me think of a movie that you just supposed to like.
2001: A Space Odyssey. Taxi Driver.
You know what? I'll give you one because I never seen it to this day. Two movies I've never seen is Waterboy and I've never seen Step Brothers, right?
Okay.
So every time I say that shit, people like, oh my God, I can't believe you never, it's the greatest. It's like, bruh, I'm going to revise revisionist history. And even in wrestling terms, right? I feel like people say WrestleMania 9 was like one of the worst WrestleManias. I don't believe that. I don't believe it is. And I think that people say that now just because that's the narrative. Yeah. I think people just, like you said, they just go along with shit just because that's what's been said. And when people do that, I call them out on it. Like, well, why do you believe that? Why are you saying that?
That's exactly the best way, is just get them to elaborate.
Yeah. That's it. And then they get frustrated. And what I've had happen to me in conversations like that, when you start questioning, like one of the narratives too, Kanye West is crazy. I don't think Kanye West is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if I say that and then I question somebody like, well, why do you think that? I don't even want to talk about this no more. Yes, because you've malfunctioned. I have asked questions that go beyond your programming at this point. So now it's like malfunction. You don't even know where to go because you're just saying whatever the fuck you saw on some internet show or CNN or some shit like that. So it's like, I love doing that. I love seeing people squirm when you question their perspective because it's like, you don't even know why the fuck you saying that.
Yeah, and that's the only way we grow, is if we think about why we're saying what we're saying.
Why are you saying what you're saying?
Yeah, and to me, that's what's important. I mean, like, with the whole Kanye thing, that's the problem with those narratives when it happens in media. It's like media will take the most divisive narrative there is, and the whole intent is that, well, people are going to buy whatever gets the most clicks, it gets the most buys, but also people aren't going to read beyond whatever we sell it as. It just becomes that.
Exactly.
So it becomes Kanye's crazy.
Right.
And to where even people with a balanced perspective will end up, chalking it up to, well, maybe he should get on his meds. You don't know Kanye, though. You don't even know that guy. How can you say that about someone you don't know?
You don't even know.
You've been sold the narrative that he's a guy who needs his meds. I bet if you sat down with him and talked with him for 3 or 4 hours, you'd be like, wow, that's actually a really cool dude. I don't even see anything wrong with that guy. But we don't even, if you get something framed like this, and then you enter the Kanye conversation like that, and you're not someone who's super into thinking everything beyond the way that it's told to them, you will just go with that, and then it becomes, that's most people. Sadly, that is the truth. It's most people, because you see it happen. Kanye's not crazy. Kanye is a very enlightened person. He said so many things that have just that have allowed me to look at the world in different ways. Beyond his music, just things that he said, because he has that perspective, and that's what makes him a beautiful soul. That's what feeds into the art. And it's like, we want this piece of the puzzle and not the rest of it. We only want the good part and not the bad parts.
Humans only like truth when it benefits them. Yeah. Whenever it benefits their agenda. Whenever it benefits, because it's like, I've had Kanye conversations with people, and it's funny. This is the first time I normally try to stray away from talking about other entertainers on record or whatever, but I just think this is a good conversation. You know
well, in terms of mental health, I think it's important.
Absolutely,
too.
And just perspective and questioning why people think the way they think. So, Kanye is just our example to get us to talk about bigger things, or a broader topic, I should say, right? So I look at it like this. Like when having conversations, and I think he's a good conversation point, because I normally, if I really want to know how somebody, like if I want to gauge somebody's like character, talk to him about like religion, politics, or Kanye West, and you're gonna figure out who you're dealing with. But it's like, it's funny to me, you know,
litmus test,
right?
Yeah.
I feel like people say, dude, it's crazy, but I was a Kanye fan from the jump, right? Since when Kanye West was just a name in the production credits on the Blueprint or the Beanie Siegel album, right? Like, I was a fan since way back then, right? So, okay, I remember when Kanye was on that the thing for Hurricane Katrina, right?
George Bush
doesn't care about black people.
Yeah.
Was he crazy then? You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, okay, but no, I remember, and I'm just keeping it real, I remember especially black folks was, yeah, Kanye. It's like, well, the same energy that made him speak that truth is the same energy that makes him speak the things that he's speaking now. It's just you don't like the truth his truth that he's speaking right now. You dig what I'm saying? It's like, it's the same person. So when people start saying, he changed, it's like, nah, Kanye was pretty much that. I remember watching interviews when College Dropout first came out and he was the same. I'm going to be the greatest in the world. I'm going to sell this and that. It's like, no, he didn't just wake up and, no, he's been consistently that the whole time. So it's like, the only thing that changed is that he's speaking a truth, or his version of a truth, that you don't particularly either agree with, understand, or want to get on board with. But to start calling people crazy, I remember seeing a Dave Chappelle interview where he said it's the worst thing you can call somebody, because that's dismissive. It totally undermines this person having a perspective, because now they're just crazy. Well, it's like, how could this person be sane the rest of the time? How was this person sane enough to plan these big multi-million-dollar tours? So he wasn't crazy when he was in these board meetings where these people was giving him millions of dollars to go on tour. So where was crazy at when this was happening? Where was crazy at when we was all going to see the Dark Twisted Fantasy tour and the Glow in the Dark tour? Where was crazy at all this time? So you mean to tell me he just woke up one day crazy? So it's like, we have to look at ourselves and we have to question, we have to stop being lazy with our own willingness to investigate the things that we say to each other and about each other. Go a step further. Investigate why you're saying what you're saying. Don't just take, if I say hot Cheetos are good, question me on it. Go eat them yourself and see.
Because think about it, if you're the guy who doesn't like hot Cheetos, you immediately like, what the fuck do you like about hot Cheetos?
Right.
You're gonna ask.
And make sure you have supporting statements, you know what I'm saying, to debate me on hot Cheetos. But what I find in today's day and age, people just saying shit. Don't nobody have the supporting argument against hot Cheetos. So if I'm sitting there like, hot Cheetos is
got a wrestling
shit,
promo on it right now if you want.
Please do. We need
I'll go in on those hot Cheetos.
Man, but to make a long story short, I just think people need to stop being lazy with what they consider knowledge and information. If you hear something and it piques your interest, take a step further to research why whoever you heard say it, where'd they get it from? And then where'd they get it from? And then go down. I just think people mentally become lazy. Oh, I heard enough. I seen somebody say it one time. That's good enough for me. And then they go and pass this shit off like it's like factual. And one thing about my zodiac sign as well, when I research it, it says 9 times out of 10, an Aries won't say anything at all before we offer false information. If we don't know it to be true, like, we'll call it out, just like earlier in our conversation. conversation when I said something, and I can't remember what it was, but I said, yo, fact check me on that. Because
which was, you were right, by the way. I did look it up, and you were right. We were talking about Full Sail University with FCW.
Oh, yes, in NXT and FCW. Yeah. So, yes, right. So, Aries, we don't talk unless we know what we're saying is the truth. Because we don't like looking foolish. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to look crazy. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, if I don't know something to be factual, then I'll preface the statement by saying that first, that, you know, don't quote me on this or something like that. But I just encourage people, if you hear some shit, go research. Stop being lazy.
And that's how we know that Kanye West is not an Aries. He is a Gemini. Yes. Yeah. So I think a lot of it goes back to how we started this whole conversation, too, about defining terms. Mm-hmm. Because the problem isn't what Kanye said. It's that we don't know what he meant. Mm-hmm. He has this way of speaking. It's a stream of consciousness where that's what makes him great, but it's a lot. Mm-hmm. And so you need to get clarification on certain things. And if you're the guy, if I had Kanye sitting across from me right now, my job is simply to just interject and make sense of things every now and then because he's a stream of consciousness.
You ever seen the movie Sausage Party? It's a Seth Rogen movie. It's an animated movie, right?
Oh, yeah. With the douchebag.
Yeah, what was it a douchebag? He was a hot dog.
What got me was the antagonist of the film was an actual douchebag.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Voiced by Nick Kroll.
Yes.
Yeah.
My man. So the thing about it is, when I think about that movie, do you remember that scene where Seth Rogen's character gets on the PA system in the grocery store and he's like, yo, no, you don't want to leave the grocery store. This is what really happens. It's all some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that Kanye West is the hot dog and sausage party, pause. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he does. Whatever information he's getting and however he's viewing the truth, and as a Gemini, he's getting on the PA and be like, yo, this is what's going on. And because humans we all communicate different, right? So you got some people who focus more on the tone in which you're saying something. Then you have people who focus on specifically the words that you're saying. Then you have people that look at physically your facial expression and your eyes to see if you're telling the truth or not. So everybody's paying attention to different things and communicating, right? So now let's take Kanye West, who's communicating in one very specific way. Yeah. So now all of the people who focus on tone, they miss his message because I wish he wouldn't scream so loud. But then you're like, but did you hear what he said though? Well, if he wasn't screaming, I would have listened to him. Then you have the people over here. They're like, why you gotta be so animated when you say what he say? Then you're like, but did you hear what he said though? I can't take him serious because you have all these people who are distracted on the different parts of communication, so they miss the message because the communication is not coming to them in the way that they're used to receiving it or to where they can properly receive it. So it's like, Kanye could be telling the truth all day long, but it's because he has a very brash way of communicating that it's rubbing people the wrong way to where they miss the truths within what he's saying.
Yeah, and I think it becomes a reflection. It becomes a mirror. That's what's so genius about what he does to me. Mm-hmm. It's meta within itself because the fact that he does it proves what he says.
Exactly. Agreed.
Because he's saying you guys won't listen to me, and then they don't listen to him.
Exactly. Yo. Man, I enjoy the fuck out of this conversation. It's very rare that you get to have these type of conversations, my man. I wanted to take the time to just say I appreciate you.
You know, I'm happy to hear you say that because I have these conversations on accident. I do this off camera. This is not put on for a show. It's actually a curse. So.
I could dig it. Well, huge gifts normally act as a gift and a curse.
Because I'm looking at things on such a grand perspective. That's why it's a curse. That's why that gift becomes a curse. Mm-hmm. Because at a certain point, ignorance is bliss. Yes. Like these conversations are great because we are able to zoom out and think about things and connect dots in ways that we don't normally do. Mm-hmm. But that's my mind all day.
All day.
So yeah, it's tough.
You're gonna be all right. You do have to learn how to shut it off and cut it on and cut it off. You know what I'm saying? Because if we stay focused on the huge picture, the humongous picture the whole time, we'll miss out on the beauty of life.
It's what I said earlier about zooming out too far, and then all of a sudden you lose that sense of purpose. Yes. You have to remember where you're at.
Exactly.
Because this right here, right now, is what's important.
Period.
I'm not anywhere else. I'm not thinking I'm going to go be in Chicago tomorrow. I'm thinking I'm sitting right here talking to this man, right now. And that's all that needs to be happening. There's nothing else that needs to be put on top of this. I'm not thinking, oh, man, Jon Connor didn't say that thing that I was really hoping he would say. Because that's the other thing that makes this work is the pure intent. You have to have pure intentions with the things that you do. I tell people that with art all the time. It's if you're going into it thinking, I'm going to make this or I want to be this, you're already fucking up because your intention wasn't pure. You should be making it for the sake of making it. You should be wanting to do it for the sake of doing it, not because of what's going to happen afterwards or how it's all. No, like because of what it is.
That's it.
Don't get so ahead of yourself.
You're absolutely correct.
All right. This is actually this is all like this podcast is secretly my audition to be a therapist.
Well, you're doing great, man.
Thanks. How did you and Joey Cool come together? How'd you guys meet each other?
What's crazy about that, me and Joey Cool, which love and shouts out to my brother, my dog, Joey Cool. Before I even talk about how we met, I want to talk about why I consider him a brother, because that's not even something I throw out loosely no more. Like I said at the top of the interview, I had went through health problems, right? And there were certain people, because I don't expect industry people to care about me beyond whatever service I'm providing for them at the time. So when an industry person goes out of their way to show, is that supposed to be like that?
Oh, we're all good, yeah.
Okay. But when an industry person goes out of their way to show love, it really touches my spirit because it's like, wow, you didn't have to do that. So when I was in and out of the hospital, Joey Cool called my assistant, Lindsay, and called and checked up on me and made sure I was okay. So that's my brother for life. But the way we came together is you never know, who's listening to your music. I came up in the blog era when you put shit on Dat Piff and Two Dope Boys and Rap Radar and stuff like that. And that's how you pretty much build your buzz. So Joey Cool had an appreciation for my music from back then. And he was working on a project. He reached out to me, and it was on from then. And people from Kansas City normally are just real-ass people. So I went to shoot the video for the record we did. It's called Thomas Shelby, which is an amazing record. If you haven't heard it, please go listen to Joey Cool featuring Jon Connor, Thomas Shelby. But we went and shot the video for that, and it was just welcoming. He welcomed me with open arms, was just a very genuine human being. Same energy we exchanging right now is always the same energy with me and Joey Cool, and that's my brother for life, man.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like when you meet people and you feel that pure intent that I was just speaking on, that's real.
Yep.
It keeps you. It's that thing we were talking about before about the magic between the three people.
Absolutely.
And that moment that you feel and that representation of life, it breathes something into you. Then it reminds you why you even make music. Like, hey, this guy gets it.
Yes.
Yeah, and you want to work with those people.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So love to my brother Joey Cool. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Joey Cool is one of them boys.
Yeah, he is. He definitely. And matter of fact, while we on the subject of Joey Cool, also go listen to Gems right now, which is out now on all streaming platforms. It's Jon Connor featuring Joey Cool, Sly Piper, and Brila Renee, produced by my man DJ Payday. Please go run them streaming numbers up, please.
Yeah, please. I want to see 1 million tomorrow.
Please, tomorrow. We need that.
So, with I just had a question in my brain. See, I'm doing the thing. I was ready. I was lined up. I was ready to go. What was it? Jon Cool. It was based on Joey Cool. It was there. It'll come back.
So let me throw trigger words at you. Strange music.
No, I'm there.
Just throwing them. Boom. Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's just trying to shoot. And one of these shots is going to hit the tip of my tongue.
Exactly.
But no, we talked a couple of times on it. And I just feel like that'd be a good thing to dive into with the recovery process and you coming back to music. Like, I mean, can you speak on that and just how it felt to be away from things and how it felt to be away from your baby, so to speak? And just like, what was running through your mind during that time when you couldn't do what you wanted to do?
So, man, even when I get regular sick, like the common cold sick, I get pissed off that I can't do music. It's the Aries thing again. We don't like to feel like we're being controlled. So the fact that sickness and health can control you, like I can want to go do some shit and I physically can't do it. That's like one of the most frustrating things about the human experience.
It makes you grateful for all them times you didn't have that sore throat.
I'm telling you. That, and so every time I get sick, as soon as I get back in the groove, as soon as I'm well again, that's the energy I go down here with. Like, oh my God, like this is for all of them days I was in the bed. I just want to work, work, work. So this particular time was whack as fuck because I was down for 2 months. So I trip out if I'm down for 3 days. So 2 months, it was a spiritual experience because I'm laying there just thinking about life and contemplating and just thinking about the albums and everything I wanted to do and just being grateful for life itself. And it was frustrating at times, but then I got to a point where it was just like, don't take anything for granted. You know, I know it sounds cliche, but it's the truth. Don't take a single day or a single second for granted. You were granted this gift. As soon as you get your ass up, get to making this music and get back to it. So that's what I got out of all of it, is just to not take a second of life for granted, man.
Yeah. I heard somebody say recently, if you just put it in the perspective of if you were in this moment right now from a time machine, if you came back from your deathbed, what would you be doing in this moment?
Wow.
And it's just that perspective of what would you be thinking about? What regrets would you have? What would I wish I would have said to you?
Right.
All those things.
That reminds me of a similar quote that I heard. They said you should live life like you jumped in a time machine and you're currently living this experience for the second time.
Oh,
you
okay.
feel me?
That's very similar, yeah.
Very similar. Because people always say, if I could go back and do it different, well, why don't you just live this time as if it's the second time you're doing it? Yeah. So say and do everything that you want to do so you don't have to think, if I could only go back.
You don't worry about that presence, that idea of presence. Was I present or was I not? Because if you were here because you came back to here and that was all that mattered, was being present, you would be present. There wouldn't even be a question about it.
It wouldn't be a question.
Yeah.
Facts.
How do you keep yourself involved in the Flint rap community?
Man, you know what? When I first came back from California, all I wanted to do was give all of the wisdom and game and gems that I had learned from being around these legendary people to young Flint artists. Because the thing about it is, the music industry isn't in Flint. You feel me? And what I mean by that is that because somebody right now is listening. What do you mean the music industry ain't in Flint? You feel me?
There's some Flint businessman who's writing the newspaper right now, trying to get an article written.
Exactly.
Jon Connor just said about Flint rap.
Right. So no, let me clarify what I mean when I say the industry is not in Flint. Literally, when you go to California, the record label buildings are there. So the music industry is literally in California because the Universal building, which houses Def Jam, Geffen, all of these record labels, Island, Def Jam, there's an office building that's literally in California. That is the Capitol Records building is literally in California. You can't go downtown Flint and see Def Jam.
Yeah, if you guys are keeping up, California's not in Flint.
Exactly. You feel me? You go to New York, there's a Universal building there. There's a Viacom building there where BET, VH1, MTV, the industry is in New York and LA. And for a big part, the South, because of Atlanta having their resurgence, because I think Arista might be in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure, but so don't quote me on that. But bottom line, there is no Def Jam building in Flint. There is no Universal. So there's ways of doing things in the music business that we aren't privy to because we aren't around the people that work in these buildings. For example, the automotive industry is here, right? Because there are plants here, right? There are plants that make cars, right? So if you wanted to get a job at General Motors, you could go to your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, your granddad, right? Because they were in that system. So they could give you the information on what it takes to work at a power plant or an automotive plant because they did it. Right? So there's information that's lacking in Flint because that industry isn't here. So people that grow up in Atlanta, New York, and LA, they're already ahead of you. They have a head start on people from Flint because their cousin worked at Interscope, because their grandfather was the A&R for fucking Beat It. You feel me? They grow up with the music industry being their normality. In Flint, we don't. So the thing is, the way that when I was learning all of these things about the music industry, I wanted to come back here because it's like I'm tired of all of these other cities being able to have that head start. When I see artists here that are just as talented, are just as has just as much creative ideas, but we get frustrated in Flint because literally it's because of a lack of knowledge. It's a lack of information that younger artists here have because the industry isn't here. You literally have to go to wherever it's at. You have to move out of here to go experience it for what it is, and then come back here, and if you lucky enough, give the information to younger generations.
As I wear my Chicago hat and I'm about to leave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. It's not a knock or a dig on Flint, but it's just like the potato industry is in Idaho, right? I'm not dissing other states by saying the potato industry is in Idaho. That's just where it's at. The music industry is in LA, it's in New York, and it's in Atlanta. It's not in Flint. So to know how to operate within the music industry, you either have to meet somebody who has been through it before, or you have to literally go there and learn what it is. Other than that, places like, like Flint and any other, and it's not just Flint, it's any city that's not LA, New York, or Atlanta, or the South, or Miami, or, these type of places where the music industry is a hub for. It's like we're all at a disadvantage. People from St. Louis, people from, Illinois, people from Milwaukee, people from, wherever that's not those places that I named, you kind of at a disadvantage. So for me, when you asked that question, when I left California, I understood that that's what it was. It was like, oh shit, like there's all these talented artists in Flint, there's all these talented singers and dancers and musicians, and they trying their heart out, but they reaching a glass ceiling because of a lack of information.
And you saw that contrast firsthand.
Yeah. So it was like, for me, when I got to California, it was like, oh shit. It is literally thousands of young artists back in my hometown that literally just don't know. And it's not their fault. They're doing the best they can. They're doing everything they can. But there's not, that wealth of knowledge there to where they can get over that hump. They can't do better because they don't know better. So when I came back, that's what I wanted to do. Any young artist, I was trying to just get anybody like, because it was just in me and in my soul and in my heart to want to give them the information that I had so they would have a better shot. Not to say I'm not the end all be all, but I'm saying, and I'm not saying if you don't do these things that I'm saying, you won't make it, because you can. But what I'm saying is I just wanted to give young artists a better chance, a better probability by giving them the information that I have for them to apply it to themselves so they'd have a better shot at achieving their dream.
Knowledge is power, right?
It is, man.
Yeah. And there's such a value to that, to having mentors too. I mean, it goes back to what we were saying before about how you had people along the way that were able to co-sign you and help you out, and how you want to be that to others.
Correct.
That is what you're doing. You're just living that out in real time by doing this.
Absolutely, man. Like I say, like Mateen Cleaves, even though it was basketball, it was still show business. And there was things that he taught me that if he wouldn't have been around for, I might not have made certain decisions that I made. Young Sav, like, he was like, and Young Sav is the younger brother of legendary hip-hop DJ Fat Man Scoop, you know what I'm saying? So he was giving me information about the game that I would have never knew. He was the reason why I was in New York, LA, taking these trips, going on tours, and being able to experience the game firsthand. Whether it's Marsha Ambrosia, DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia, whether it's Kelly Price gave me a lot of game, whether it's being around Dr. Dre and the people around him, Focus and them Joints and Sly Piper, and all of these people that I'm naming were people who had been in this game before me, knew that I didn't know certain things. And it's not to say that I was a stupid person or just not an intelligent person. It just was, if you're not around it, you don't know. Like I say, I didn't grow up, and I'm using Idaho, which is hilarious as an example, but I didn't grow up in Idaho, so I don't know how to harvest potatoes. So I would need, that's
potatoes
something
must be on your mind.
On my mind heavy. I had some bomb-ass garlic mashed potatoes the other day, neither here nor there. So
we just got to the bottom of it.
We did. Everybody listening right now, I just exposed my love for potatoes, but if I wanted to harvest potatoes, it would be wise for me to go talk to somebody who is knowledgeable in that field. So that's all I'm saying about that statement about now the industry not being in Flint. It's a lot of times we're ignorant to a lot of things because we didn't grow up around it. So when I came back, that's all I wanted to do, man.
Yeah, and if anything, it's it's just another one of those resources Flint lacks, right? I mean, we don't have that resource, and so it makes people hungry for it. We need it. I think it's also the case that, you know, it's that thing where we forget the effect we can have on one another, and it's great that you are aware of the effect you can have on other people because you are going out there and you are sharing that knowledge. Because I think about it like stories, you know? How I was saying before about how we think of things as now. We see the story as it is now, but what about the story that led to that story? There's so many steps along the way. There's so many things where if you take one bit out, that story would have never even went the way it did.
Absolutely.
And you know, it makes me hesitate less with my decisions because what's the story I want to tell? What's the ending of this story? Because I'm not going to get to that ending unless I know the steps that are in the middle. I have to know how that story goes. And what would happen if I took a step out of that story with that image I have at the end? What would happen if this famous person that I love didn't move to LA and follow their dreams? I would have never loved them. And they didn't do that. And that's how life is.
Absolutely.
It's what do you want to be that person that shows up on people's screens and you change their lives? Well, if you want to be that person, it takes a bit of time to get there. And that story doesn't just write itself.
Absolutely.
And it takes characters like you sometimes. So I like that you're willing to place yourself as a secondary character in other people's success stories, right? Because of that.
Bro, we just got done talking about pro wrestling, right? And we understand that it doesn't matter who wins or loses the match.
Yeah.
It's about the bigger picture of the story they told.
Yeah.
You feel me?
There was a great scene I saw, it's a great podcast I saw with John Cena talking about, it's right after Brock beat Undertaker at WrestleMania, and it was going to be John Cena versus Brock. And Brock said that he was talking to Stone Cold, and Brock is telling this to Cena. He's saying, hey, me and Stone Cold were talking, and we think I'm just going to suplex you 12 times in a row and then win. I'm just going to destroy you. And John Cena's like, by all means, destroy me. Like, I want you to. I think that's how the story goes. Maybe it's even that John Cena proposed the 12 suplexes. But the whole thing is, he's willing to just look like a total jobber in that situation because it serves the story of Undertaker losing to fucking Brock Lesnar. That was the streak. The streak had been broken. Now, for people who don't understand, that was a moment unlike any other moment in wrestling.
I was there for that, bro.
Oh, my God.
I was in New Orleans.
I saw it live, but I wasn't there.
Bro, we not going to lose our point, y'all. We having a mark-out moment for wrestling one more time. So the point of all of this is being the supporting character in somebody else's story. So we not going to lose that.
No.
But, bro.
Thank you for clarifying in case I did.
Right. It's all good, bro. I can't explain the feeling.
Time stopped. Time actually felt like it stopped.
Bro, I'll never forget it. So this is how it went down. I'll try to make this short for all the non-wrestling fans. So we in New Orleans. We in the Superdome, right? So we got pretty good seats. I remember telling my homeboy Jacoby, I said, Jacoby, man, I said, if this was real life, it looked like Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker ass, bro. I said, I know it's the streak and everything. I said, but if this shit was real life, because you know when you go see wrestling, there's no commentators. So they're literally telling the story. Like, you're not caught up in all the, oh, look at it, it's a body slam, right? Yeah. You're literally just watching these two dudes tell this story, right? So I'm like, man, if this was real life, Brock could beat the shit out of the Undertaker, dog. Because at the time, Undertaker had, like, dropped weight. Like, he was thinner than I had ever seen him. And Brock was just brolic. You know what I'm saying? So the match is going on. People not even really paying attention to the match because it was like a foregone conclusion. It's the streak. Undertaker gonna win. Yeah. So I remember just bullshit. Like, yeah, all right, man, whatever. Just talking some bullshit, right? And then I remember that F5 happened. And I remember right before the F5, I tell my man Jacoby, I said, bro, I said, dog, what if Brock Lesnar wins, right? And he was like, nah, they ain't gonna let that happen. That's what we all said. He was like, nah, bro, that ain't gonna happen. F5, 1, 2, 3, literally, bro, silence. I never heard 75,000 people all go silent at one time. And when I say silent, it was like, gasp in the Superdome, like, and like everybody was holding their breath like another referee gonna come or they fucked up. I think the referee fucked up, right? Bro, on the big ass massive screens at the Superdome, right? You know how every year at WrestleMania it would show like Undertaker's record. It would say like 20-0, and then they'll have the lightning and shit. Bro, it was silence. The screen popped up and it said 21-1 with the lightning, and you heard everybody go, no! So if you go back and watch, now it's me telling you that, go watch WrestleMania 30. So it's 1, 2, 3, silence. No! Then here is your winner, Brock Lesnar. No! It was like, bro, waves. It was waves of emotion. It was disbelief, shock, horror, more disbelief, bruh, and then it was just
that was me in my bedroom. I went through all those same emotions. Bro. I remember I was screaming at the screen, no,
bro,
no, that this isn't real. Bro, this can't be real.
I was there, and I never felt no shit like that. Like that was a moment in time. It really was. Time stood still. It really was that serious. Everybody that was there in the fucking Superdome, it was that. If you was there that night, it was silence. Everybody holding their breath. They put the big screens on all of the screens before any music happened, because it was like Vince saying, "Nah, I want y'all to soak this in." Yeah, he lost. Like look at it. And I just couldn't. It was almost like I had to wipe my eyes. Like, dude, that shit really say 21-1, bro? And it did. And this shit fucked me up. Hey, what?
Well, I was going to say, to tie it back in, the Undertaker had to play that role in that story, too. Yep. He had to accept that the story is bigger than him. Yeah. This narrative is bigger than him. And he's the biggest. At that time, that was the grandest narrative in wrestling.
It was bigger than any championship.
Yeah, that was the reason some people like WrestleMania. It's like the staple of Mania is the streak. It's going to happen. You know, every WrestleMania is going to be at least one random-ass celebrity cameo, and there's going to be an Undertaker match.
Man, bro, imagine. Like I said, I've been watching wrestling since before I can even remember. So I remember the inception of the streak, bro. Like WrestleMania 7, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, dog. So just for 21 years, I had became accustomed to that. Like I said, dog, when I was there, I didn't even really pay attention to the match that much, because I just like, yeah, Undertaker gonna win. So what's going on?
It's like being with a girl. We've been dating 21 years. She ain't gonna leave me.
She ain't gonna leave me. And it happened, man. So like, you know, they say never, but the point of us bringing up the streak was playing your role. But no, I don't mind at all, because bro, everybody is the star in the movie of their own life.
Yeah.
I don't need to be the star in your movie. I'm the star in my movie. So if I play a dope-ass supporting role in your movie, that's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Those are two good movies.
Yeah, it's two good movies. So I don't get caught up on that.
Cool, man. And then are there any Flint artists that you'd like to recommend while we got you on the microphone here? Is there anybody you'd want to shout out? So,
man, I just became a really big fan of Brila Renee. And she's a part of a group, and
you guys just work together too.
We just work together, and I didn't know. Like, a friend of mine, DJ Nizzo, was telling me about her, right? And I really got to a point where I just didn't want to hear no new artists no more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bro, I don't want to hear no new artists. And he like, man, I'm trying to tell you, man, she crazy. And I'm like, bruh, I don't want to hear it. So
you think, I've heard all kinds of crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's the real deal. Like, in the studio, performance-wise, she's the real deal. Like, she really, really is. Jada Ali is dope. We worked together before. I've been knowing her for such a long time. I'm trying to think, man. Who else I like? Enjoy Melody. She's coming up, man, doing her thing, honing her craft. Trying to think who else, man. Oh, hell yeah. Yep. Cam Howell, man. Because, dog, he's just, man, that kid is the real deal as well. Like, he's got an energy about himself, and that thing that we talking about people that get it. Like, Cam Howell has it in the studio, and he also just has it as a person, that whenever you interact with Cam Howell, you leave feeling better, and some of his energy, some of what he got rub off on you in a very positive way. So shouts to Cam Howell as well.
Yeah. And also, I will say, too, just with the way that he writes his music, I love the precision with the bars. I mean, I'm just, as a lyricist, as a poet first, every time I see somebody writing in that way, where it's clear that there's intent, it's clear that it's not just, you know, one of those songs where we're just putting things together to put things together, but there's something happening here.
Yes.
There's a magic being captured. He's one of those people.
He is one of those people. I worked with him, and me and him in the studio is always been fun because he's very he's that example of confident without being arrogant. He's very confident in what he does without being arrogant. He takes in everything into consideration. If you have an idea, he's willing to listen to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he'll fight for his idea if he feels like his idea is better. And I respect that. And I always love that about working with Cam.
I love working with anybody who's got a clear vision.
Clear vision. Yeah. He knows who he is. And that's half the battle when you're an artist.
Yes, 100%. And that's yes, just that right there. Because I mean, if there's anything I see in people that I talk to, because I talk to artists all the time, it's constantly that's the issue. That they clearly they haven't figured out what their identity is yet. Their vision isn't as clear enough in their mind as it should be. And that's the problem here. And they can, if you give them the proper medium, such as something like this, they're able to communicate. But it's clear that on their own, they're not quite there yet with their vision. And so I think, and that's one of those things I say too, you can't even teach that necessarily. It's just something that you have to learn to be more proficient with through experience.
Absolutely.
What is my vision? And just exercising that. That's why I tell people, create. Just sharpen that blade.
Sharpen the blade. Yo, cuz, it was a group we saw at the Juneteenth the other day. What was the name of that group? Do you remember?
Bria.
It was it name?
You talking about Bria?
It was the two dudes?
Oh.
Because I definitely want, and if I forget, like, anybody, please forgive me. Like I'm saying, because I'm trying to remember, because it is dope. It's a lot of dope ass talent at Flint. I can't either, but man.
This would be a 3-hour segment by itself if we wanted to name everybody.
But but it was a group that really left an impression on me the other day. At Juneteenth, and I'll probably, when this interview come out, we'll have found their name.
You're gonna remember tomorrow,
and I'll tag it. Yeah, I'm gonna remember.
It's what we were talking about.
I'm gonna remember on the ride home. Like, damn. But
yeah. Whenever you just send me that info, and I will put it out there for the world. It's on the screen right in front of our faces right now, or something, right?
Absolutely.
What would be your? Oh, I got that one. We've nailed all my questions here. Only 2 left.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. All right. So. Well, I like this one because I think you're gonna get a kick out of this one.
Okay.
So it's multiple. What are the ultimate lessons that God has taught you?
It's so many.
Yeah. Good luck.
You said lessons with an S?
Yeah, because I figured if I made you chalk it up to one, that might be too hard.
That's too hard. Because God teaches every day. So God teaching you every day, every single day. So the lessons don't stop. So,
what are some of the most prolific lessons?
I'll definitely tell you. So, in my free time, right, I like to feed animals, birds, cats, dogs, squirrels. Like I'm saying, I love nature, right? So that's normally my time to get up and talk to God. I wake up super duper early, and I'll like put bird seed out, or I'll chop up fruits and vegetables and like leave them around the neighborhood and stuff like that, right? So this is normally my spiritual time to talk to God. So when I first started doing it, a lesson God taught me was I'm feeding the animals, right? And so normally I would see the birds come down and eat the food that I that I put out, right? And that would give me this feeling of joy, because the first lesson I learned was like, no one person is too small. We all serve a greater purpose. Like, look at you're one person, and look at all of these birds and animals whose lives you're affecting from just you doing that. So don't ever think that just you isn't enough, right? So one day I go and I put the food out there, right? And no birds was eating my shit. So I'm like, God, what's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is my joyful part of the day. I watch the birds and they eat the food, and I feel like, good job, Jon. You did something good for the world, right? So I go and I walk around in this little garden I got. And then my spirit said, okay. All right. I thought to myself, I said, God, why can't I see the birds eating the food, right? So then my spirit said, look down, right? And I looked down, and it was a bunch of ants eating the apples that I put out. And that spoke to me because it was God saying to me, just because you can't see the end result of the good things you do doesn't mean something good isn't still happening. The ants are as important as the birds. Just because you can't see the ants eating don't mean that what you did today was in vain. And it was like, damn. And a lot of times we get caught up on that. I got to see my hard work pay. I got to see. And fuck that. If I give somebody a gym and they take it and run with it and become a millionaire tomorrow, good for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? We just all playing our part. And nothing is any less or greater in significance than anything else. Like, that hit my heart so crazy that God was like, oh, you think just because you didn't see the birds eat the food that I had you just doing something for no reason. Them ants important too. They serve a purpose too. Because you ain't see them so your day could be happy. You sitting there. How dare us? So that was one of the most beautiful lessons that always comes to mind when I think about my personal relationship with God, is that stop thinking you know. You don't. Enjoy the beauty of what you're being told to do. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Because I almost got teary-eyed when I saw the ants eating it. And it was almost like, wow. Like, damn. My perspective was, I see the birds, I see the squirrels, so I'm only basing this thing off what I can see. And so that I apply that to everything in my life. It's like I don't want to make it seem like I'm some type of saint or something like that, but I try to walk in the spirit of good and love, and I don't worry about how it's going to come back to me or what I can see or how it's going to come back to me. That is for God to figure out. That is for me to do something nice for somebody, and then they pass that something nice to somebody else, because God got somebody else doing something nice that's going to come back to me. Long as I stay in alignment with that energy, then that's all it's about. So I think that is one of the most beautiful, just off the top of my head, like, lessons that God gave me, just that had me floored at the beauty of God.
It reminds you of your own humility,
yes,
too. It reminds you to maintain that situations like those, because it reminds me of what we were talking about before about love, and it's as if, you know, your version of love was seeing the birds, and then when you got a different version of love, an epiphany occurs.
Yeah,
because you didn't even know love could occur in that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's that humility to recognize in yourself, oh my God, 5 seconds ago I was not who I am now.
Right.
Yeah.
Bro, you just verbalized that perfectly.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
I specialize in that.
Absolutely.
How would you like to be remembered?
I just want to be remembered at all, because my interactions with each human is different, right? You know, for some people I might be the shoulder that they needed to lean on. For some people, I might have said something funny when they felt like crying. For some people, I might have made a record that helped them not commit suicide or something. For some people, I'm the guy that has these crazy bars. So that's, you know, however I'm remembered is in the hearts and minds of those who remember me, as long as I'm just remembered at all. As long as me walking on this earth was significant in some form of way, because that means that God's purpose for me was served. If I'm remembered at all, that means I did something that was worth remembering, you know. So I think, you know, whatever I am to each individual, that's on them, and I think I'm at peace with that, you know. However you remember Jan, John, Deucey, Kevin, whatever name you know me by, you know, as long as you remember me at all, because that makes me think. I heard this phrase. Somebody said, "You die two deaths. You die
once when you really die, and once when people stop saying your name."
My man. So you know,
yeah,
you know, for real. So as long as I'm remembered, and as long as my name is being said by somebody, you know, that means I served my purpose. So I think that's my answer. As long as I'm remembered at all, each individual can remember me however they want to.
It's a beautiful answer.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You articulated that very well.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it.
And yeah, man, I mean, usually I send these things off with a beautiful message for the folks at home, but I think we just loaded this thing full of them, right?
I think so.
Where can they find you on social media? What can they keep in mind? This is coming out a couple months from now, so if you're going to plug any songs, that's there for you to think about. So.
Absolutely. So if y'all listening to this right now, then that means my Project 3 is out right now. I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope y'all listening to it. Follow me on my social medias at Jon Connor Music, and that's JonConnorMusic. Yeah, and go subscribe to my YouTube channel. We trying to build that thing up. And yeah, if I'm in your city on tour, come check me out live, and let's exchange energy with each other. And I'm just grateful for anybody who's ever been a fan or supporter or listener of Jon Connor's music. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for letting me live my dream, and I want to thank you, man, for just being a beautiful soul and inviting us up here, like, to just shoot the shit and talk spirituality and pro wrestling and music. I had a great time, man, and I would do this again with you anytime. Like, straight up, man. So yeah, follow me at Jon Connor Music. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out all of the back catalog of my music, and check out all of the new projects I got coming out. And thank y'all for deeming me worthy enough to listen to in this moment, for real. Cause time, you can't get time back. So thank y'all for giving me a piece of y'all time.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys for paying that attention, and thank you for being here, for real. It was I'll have you back anytime. We'll do it real soon. Love. I'm just gonna be in Chicago, so it'll be a little bit of a trek for you. But as long as you're willing to...
we're gonna be traveling, so we'll stop there. It's a sushi spot in Chicago. I want to go to. It's called. It starts with a G. Fudge. What is the name of that place? It's a bomb ass sushi spot though that I want to try out there. Anyway, I'm making this longer than it needs to be.
Oh no, you're good.
Bottom line, we're gonna be traveling, so we'll definitely come fuck with you.
And after the interview, you could send me what that sushi spot was, we'll pop up on the screen. Man, yeah.
I want to find that damn.
I know, it's like we can't leave them with this.
We can't leave y'all hanging, because I follow them on my IG. Hold on, I'm about to tell y'all right now, because every day they be posting shit that look crazy, and I'm gonna show you this too.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm happy to know, because I'm gonna be there soon, and I'm gonna be looking for some fire food, man. I like Chinese food. I do. I like me some good sushi. I don't think I've had any good sushi. I've had sushi. I haven't had anything great.
Man, for amazing sushi, dog. It's a place in Las Vegas. I'll find the name of that place for you too. And it's a place in Chicago. And I don't know why it started with a fucking G. Anyway, I ain't gonna waste y'all time. But
there's somebody in the world who knows. They can comment it. If you know and you're watching this, you can comment it.
I know Lindsay. Lindsay know. I hear. Shout out to my assistant Lindsay, man. Like, 'cause she know everything, man. So yeah, if I don't got the answer, Lindsay got it. So yeah, but yeah, that's that. So. Yeah, we up out of here. Shouts to my mom. I love you, Mom. Everybody love your moms. Love my dad. Father's Day was not too long ago. Shouts to my girl, Carmen. I love you so much. Shouts to my cuz. What up, Brand? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm like Eminem on the Forgot About Dre video right now. What up? Like, I'm just shouting people out. But anyway, good energy, peace and blessings to everybody, man.
Yeah, for real, man. I mean, peace and blessings all the way. Again, I'm just happy to have you here. It's been a great time. I couldn't have made this happen by myself, and that's what's so beautiful about the human spirit.
Absolutely.
Take that one home with you, folks. Smoke on that. With all that being said, Ruse Radio, clocking out.
I see it all from the White Tower. How I got powers more than ever. Time flows like a hot